To build a mecha, my secret stash was exposed by my wife. Hey! Look who's back for more adventures. We love having you here to continue this story that keeps us all awake. Important note, all of this is pure fiction, so don't try any techniques you hear here in real life. Your neighbor might call the cops. This amazing novel and all its rights belong to the original author. We're just the ones giving it voice and drama. Are you enjoying the show? Prove it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and leaving that like that motivates us so much. And if you want VIP access to exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting with things you won't find anywhere else. Chapter 76. Who is stronger, the Candle Dragon or the Nine-Tailed Fox? Fifei, look behind you. Reminded by Bing Bing, Gao Luofei turned around and saw the beautiful and harmonious background behind her, like a garden designed by a top professional landscape architect. Lilies, roses, peonies, daffodils, and other plants, regardless of their season, were all present in the garden. Without a doubt, this is definitely virtual imaging technology. This technology is amazing. The sunlight and garden are so realistic. Where can I buy this? I want to buy one for my home. Who invented this virtual imaging technology? I wonder which is more incredible, this one or the one that Huaxin Group is about to release. I think it's Huaxin Group's Nine-Tailed Fox. After all, Huaxin Group has been advertising like crazy lately, touting their virtual imaging technology as unbeatable, even disregarding Western products. Upstairs, what do you mean by too much? That's the truth. Those Western virtual imaging devices are all fake products. Huaxin Group's is a real virtual imaging device. They're not even in the same league. Honey, is this virtual imaging technology? Gao Luofei turned to Suze beside her and asked. Hearing Gao Luofei's question, Suze nodded and said, yes, this is the real virtual imaging device. Zhulin, from the classic of Mountains and Seas, is a mythical beast skilled in illusion. Because its abilities are similar to virtual imaging devices, Suze named his virtual imaging device Zhulin. Zhulin was upgraded and created by Suze using the various knowledge he had acquired recently, building upon the technical challenges he had previously overcome. Compared to Huaxin Group's virtual imaging device Nine-Tailed Fox, Zhulin has significantly improved performance in all aspects. Honey, could it be that you created this virtual imaging technology? Zhulin, after hearing Suze's words, a possibility arose in Gao Luofei's mind. Since Suze created the mechas, the Sky Eye surveillance cameras, and the Zhao toy cars, could he also have created this virtual imaging technology? If that were the case, Gao Luofei felt her husband was incredibly capable. With so many scientific disciplines and so much scientific knowledge, how incredibly intelligent would Suze be if he could comprehend it all? While it's true that Suze was the one who decided on the vast majority of the technical approaches and development process for Zhulin, students from Imperial University specializing in virtual imaging technology also participated in the project. Therefore, Suze couldn't possibly keep it all to himself. Thus, Suze shook his head and said, no, Zhulin wasn't created by me alone, it's the result of a team effort. Hearing this, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Indeed, one person's abilities are limited. If Suze had accomplished everything alone, everyone would have suspected he was an alien. However, even though it wasn't created by Suze alone, knowing that Zhulin was indeed a virtual imaging device sparked intense curiosity among the viewers in the live stream. Which device is more powerful, Zhulin or Huaxin Group's Nine-Tailed Fox? I don't know, I've only seen the promotional video. Is there anyone who's used Nine-Tailed Fox who can explain? Are you guys stupid? Just add to Huaxin Group's official Nine-Tailed Fox account. Doesn't Huaxin Group say their virtual imaging equipment is the most advanced? Give anyone who has a more advanced virtual imaging device $1 million reward, let them come and see for themselves, then it'll be clear. Yeah, that's right, why didn't I think of that? I'll go at them, me too, I'll join in the fun. In just a few seconds, millions of viewers in the live stream simultaneously opened the official accounts of Huaxin Group's Nine-Tailed Fox team on Weibo, Bilibili, and other platforms, inviting them to watch the program's live stream. Due to the large number of people, in just 10 seconds, these official accounts received nearly 1 million comments. The sudden influx of comments immediately alerted the staff responsible for maintaining the Nine-Tailed Fox team's accounts. Upon realizing that a virtual imaging device called Zhulin had appeared during a live broadcast of the program Finding Hidden Money, the staff knew they couldn't handle the situation and immediately reported it to their superiors. Boss, our official account is in chaos. A virtual imaging device called Huling appeared in the official live stream of the Finding Hidden Money program. Viewers are asking us to come and test our skills. Hearing the staff's excited words, Wang Tao, the current leader of the Nine-Tail Working Group and also its technical director, said, "The official live stream of Finding Hidden Money? Okay, I understand." He then hung up the phone. Wang Tao was originally the team leader of Suze's R&D group. Besides directly liaising with Suzette, Wang Tao's primary responsibility was manufacturing the specific equipment based on Suze's virtual imaging technology. Since the technology was successfully developed and the related virtual imaging product Nine-Tail was planned for sale, Wang Tao was directly appointed as the leader of the Nine-Tail Working Group. When the staff called Wang Tao, he was in a conference room, arranging matters related to the launch of Nine-Tails for his team. His conversation with the staff had been overheard by other members of the conference room. Since most of the Nine-Tails team members had worked with Suze on the development, they were quite familiar with Wang Tao. Therefore, these curious members asked him, "Brother Wang, what happened?" Chapter 77 Suze's Candle Dragon is definitely not going to work. Upon hearing what his team members said, Wang Tao relaxed and cheerfully relayed what the staff member in charge of the official account had just told everyone in the conference room. When everyone learned that a virtual imaging device had also appeared in the Finding Hidden Money live stream, and that its technology seemed to surpass their Nine-Tailed Fox's technology, the staff in the conference room all laughed. "Are you kidding me? How could there be virtual imaging technology more advanced than our Nine-Tailed Fox in this world?" Exactly. It's not some fake virtual imaging device, is it? They're just trying to fool us with that projector. Since we adopted this marketing tactic, so many people have done it to scam prize money. It's so ridiculous. The people in the conference room clearly had great confidence in the Nine-Tailed Fox's virtual imaging technology. Seriously? This was virtual imaging technology developed by Professor Su, an honorary professor at Imperial University, leading them to master it. Even those developed in secret laboratories either had poor pixel quality or were too bulky and cumbersome. They were simply not in the same league as Nine-Tailed Fox. Their Nine-Tailed Fox technology is revolutionary. Currently, nothing in this world can surpass it. Alright, even so, this is something we've released. Since so many netizens want us to see it, we can't just ignore it. Xiao Zhou, project a live stream of the Finding Hidden Money program onto the big screen. Let's watch it together. Although Wang Tao was very confident that there couldn't be any virtual imaging technology superior to Nine-Tailed Fox, he couldn't pretend he didn't see it since so many netizens had told them. Hearing Wang Tao's instruction, the official live stream of the Finding Hidden Money program was quickly projected onto the large screen in the meeting room. Once the official live stream opened and everyone saw what was happening, the staff in the meeting room began to whisper among themselves. They discovered that the virtual imaging equipment they had initially thought was so weak wasn't as bad as they had imagined. This virtual imaging technology actually looks pretty realistic. I think it's just because we're watching the live stream. I don't believe this technology can be better than Nine-Tailed Fox. Brother Wang, tell me, which is more powerful, our Nine-Tailed Fox or this? The staff in the conference room noticed that, judging from the live stream, the virtual imaging technology created by the Suzette seemed to be no worse than their Nine-Tailed Fox. Unable to distinguish, they all turned their attention to Wang Tao. As the technical director, Wang Tao should be able to see what shortcomings Suze's virtual imaging technology had compared to Nine-Tailed Fox. However, when the staff in the conference room turned their attention to Wang Tao, they found him completely stunned. The reason Wang Tao was stunned was because he realized that the person in the live stream was none other than Suzette, whom he hadn't seen in a long time. The other staff members only knew him as Professor Su, but Wang Tao, who had direct contact with Suzette, knew very well that the Suzette in the live stream was indeed Professor Su. Since it was said that the virtual imaging equipment in the live stream was made by Suzette, Wang Tao didn't even need to look to understand that Suze's virtual imaging equipment was definitely stronger than Nine-Tailed Fox. After all, how could the equipment made by Suzette, the father of virtual imaging, be inferior to theirs? We lost. Hearing Wang Tao's words, everyone in the conference room looked at him with disbelief. Noticing their incredulous gazes, Wang Tao explained, "This Suze is Professor Su." Hearing Wang Tao's words, everyone's eyes turned to the live stream. If Suze was indeed Professor Su, then the result of this competition was self-evident. "Brother Wang, are you sure you're not mistaken?" a staff member in the conference room asked Wang Tao again. In their minds, Professor Su, with such a wealth of knowledge, should be at least 50 or 60 years old, but Suze was so young, he didn't seem like it at all. Hearing the staff member's question, Wang Tao didn't speak, but instead pointed to a section of the wall in the room that no one had noticed, for everyone to see. Following Wang Tao's gaze, everyone vaguely saw a medal in the live stream. The medal was very familiar to them. It was the award given to them by Imperial University after the breakthrough in virtual imaging technology. At this point, everyone was certain that Wang Tao hadn't made a mistake. This unbelievably young man was indeed Professor Su, whom they had all been longing to see. Su is actually Professor Su. He's so young. I thought Professor Su would be at least 50 or 60 years old, but he's so young. But honestly, Professor Su is so handsome. Yes, and Professor Su's wife is Gao Luofei. Both of them are my idols. It's so wonderful that they're together. After learning that Suze was indeed Professor Su, exclamations of surprise filled the conference room. Meanwhile, in Suze's livestream, the many viewers who had returned from the official account were sharing their reactions. We've already informed the Nine-Tailed Fox official account about what happened here, and I think they should be here soon, but I feel that although we haven't seen Huoxin Group's products yet, Huoxin Group, backed by Imperial University, has abundant technological resources. Nine-Tailed Fox is probably still more powerful. That's not necessarily true. You've seen it yourself. Suze is someone who can build mechas. Have you seen anyone else besides Suze who can manufacture mechas? I admit, manufacturing mechas is indeed impressive, but virtual imaging technology and mech technology are completely different fields. One person can't be good at everything. Chapter 78 I am ashamed of myself. The Nine-Tails is trash. Just as the viewers in the live stream were having a heated discussion, another very eye-catching golden comment appeared in the chat. Well, looks like another wealthy person is speaking up. The golden comment was very simple, concisely stating, I've seen the Nine-Tailed Fox, and I've used it myself. It's not 1,000 times or 10,000 times stronger than this, but it's definitely several times stronger. The viewers in the live stream weren't surprised at all that someone had sent that golden comment. It was none other than the account of Chen Li, chairman of Mecha Electronics Company, one of Huoxin Group's offline sales channels. As a groundbreaking product, Huoxin Group not only had a strong online presence but had also rented stores in major cities across the country to establish its own official specialty stores over the past 6 months. However, due to time and financial constraints, in addition to the official stores, they had also introduced Mecha Electronics Company and Jinlong Business Company as sales channels for the Nine-Tailed Fox product. Although Chen Li recognized the impressive virtual imaging technology displayed in the live stream, considering the Nine-Tailed Fox launch tomorrow and wanting to protect his future interests, he naturally criticized Suze's product. Hearing Chen Li's words, the viewers who had been discussing the product earlier became even more interested. Although I haven't used Nine-Tailed Fox, Chen Li, as a distributor of Nine-Tailed Fox, must have. Since Mr. Chen has said so, it seems that what Suze made is definitely inferior to Nine-Tailed Fox. With a professional involved, the result is self-evident. Hearing Mr. Chen say this, I'm now eager to buy a Nine-Tailed Fox to try it out. Mr. Chen, can you start sales earlier tomorrow? I want to buy the first one. I think we don't need Huoxin Group anymore. Given the current situation, we can already announce the result. Chen Li's actions were naturally observed by Wang Tao and the others. They were perfectly aware of Chen Li's motives. He was simply acting for his own benefit. Such blatant disregard for facts would only lead to consumers clearly understanding the difference between Nine-Tails and Suze's product once it was officially released. At that point, today's incident wouldn't matter to Chen Li, but it would certainly damage Nine-Tails' reputation, something no one wanted to see. Furthermore, after some research, Wang Han discovered that the virtual imaging device Suze had created in the live stream was, in every aspect, more advanced than Nine-Tails. However, despite knowing this truth, Wang Tao wasn't discouraged. After all, it was Suze who had developed something surpassing Nine-Tails. At the same time, Wang Tao's admiration for Suze's research capabilities grew even stronger. No wonder he became an honorary professor at such a young age. He was truly remarkable. Don't worry, everyone. You'll be absolutely satisfied after you buy Nine-Tailed Fox tomorrow. Suze's virtual imaging device is nothing compared to Nine-Tailed Fox. Our Nine-Tailed Fox products are the result of Professor Su and his research team's painstaking efforts. Their world-leading technology, Seeing Chen Li continuing to belittle Suze and say inappropriate things, Wang Tao immediately instructed his assistant to register an official account. After a quick and successful verification, Wang Tao entered the official live stream room of the program, finding hidden money, because it was an officially verified account. As soon as Wang Tao entered the live stream room, many viewers knew that the official account of Huoxin Group's Nine-Tailed Fox Studio had arrived. The person in charge is here. Nine-Tailed Fox, you're late. It's all over now. Go back and prepare the goods. Nine-Tailed Fox, don't let us down. You'll be 10 times stronger than what Suze is showing now. Gao Luofei and the others naturally saw the reaction in the live stream. Although the viewers' words weren't too harsh, Gao Luofei and the others believed that Suze must have felt somewhat upset after seeing them. After all, anyone would feel sad if their creation wasn't as good as someone else's. Honey, don't pay attention to them. You're the best in my heart. The virtual imaging device you created is absolutely perfect. Hearing Gao Luofei's comforting voice beside him, Suze smiled slightly, indicating that he understood. In fact, Suze's feelings were truly complicated at this moment. After all, the Nine-Tailed Fox, which these viewers used to belittle his product, was also something he had created. So, to be precise, Suze was actually in an unassailable position. Could Suze interpret this as these viewers indirectly praising him? Wife, why should I be angry? I have no intention of being angry at all. Suze spoke his true feelings, but Gao Luofei heard it completely differently. Seeing Suze's nonchalant smile, Gao Luofei thought he was just trying to reassure her, and her heart ached for him even more. Just when everyone in the live stream thought that the arrival of Huoxin Group's Nine-Tailed Studio was pointless, a message from the studio stunned everyone. I am Wang Tao, the technical director of Nine-Tailed Studio. On behalf of Nine-Tailed Studio, I announce that our virtual imaging device Nine-Tailed is not as good as Suze's Candle Dragon. Chapter 79. Turns out he's a professor from the Imperial University. His loss wasn't unjustified. What? Holy crap, is this a hacked account or a fake official account? Are you sure you're telling the truth? The technical director of Nine-Tailed Fox is indeed Wang Tao. What nonsense is he spouting? Nine-Tailed Fox is inferior to Candle Dragon? Are you kidding me? Imperial University can't compare to a toy designer? That's ridiculous, liar. Huoxin Group is a fraudulent company. He clearly said Nine-Tailed Fox was the most advanced, and now he's contradicting himself. Doesn't he have any shame? Wang Tao's statement instantly shocked the entire live stream. Besides the live stream audience, Gao Luofei, Bingbing, and others were equally shocked. They originally thought that Candle Dragon, created by Suzette, was indeed inferior to Nine-Tailed Fox, but they didn't expect him to pull such a stunt. Chen Li immediately became anxious upon seeing Wang Tao's comment. In his opinion, even if Wang Tao were the technical director of Nine-Tailed Fox, he wouldn't be here. Even if Wang Tao were here, he shouldn't have said such a thing. Therefore, Chen Li launched a barrage of attacks on Wang Tao. What's wrong with this program team? Why is everyone getting certified, Wang Tao? You think you're Wang Tao? I could say I'm Wang Tao too. What proof do you have? You think you're Wang Tao just because you say so? The program team needs to re-evaluate this and take down the official certification immediately. Just as Chen Li typed these comments, his phone rang. He picked it up and saw it was Huoxin Group calling, so he answered immediately. Hello, Mr. Li, what's up, Mr. Li? I think you, Chen Li, are really something. You even dared to insult our CEO Wang. You're amazing, you're awesome, because of your words online, which have had a negative impact on our Nine-Tailed Fox products and insulted Professor Su of Imperial University. I'm informing you that your contract with Huoxin is terminated. Before Chen Li could say anything, the call was disconnected. Chen Li panicked. You see, the reason Chen Li's Mecha Electronics company was able to cooperate with Huoxin Group was entirely because of his father's influence. His Mecha Electronics company had been established for 3 years. Although it had a considerable number of stores across the country, almost all of them were operating at a loss. He had originally planned to leverage the success of his first virtual imaging device, Nine-Tailed Fox, to turn a profit. If the contract was terminated, then Chen Li's Mecha Electronics company would go bankrupt. By the way, Wang Tao is still in the live stream. For my dad's sake, I apologize to Wang Tao. That should be okay. As for the claim that he insulted Professor Su, Chen Li thought it must be a mistake. He had never even met Professor Su, so how could he have insulted him? Therefore, after calming down a bit, Chen Li raised his hand to type an apology to Wang Tao in the live stream. However, just as Chen Li finished typing his apology and was about to send it, Wang Tao's next comment left Chen Li speechless. I see many Ninetales supporters are confused. Why did we so confidently claim that Ninetales was the world's most advanced virtual imaging device, but now we're contradicting ourselves? I have a question for everyone. Those interested can listen. If a sculptor sculpts the same piece twice, which do you think is better, the first or the second? Although there were still many abusive comments in the live stream. Some viewers felt that Wang Tao must have something to say. Therefore, after seeing Wang Tao's comments, they thought for a moment and answered, it's definitely the second piece. The second piece will definitely learn from the shortcomings of the first and be better. I also think it's the second one. But so what? What does it have to do with this? Don't change the subject. We want justice. One sculptor, two pieces, could it be? After some thought, Gao Luofei, Bingbing, and the others roughly understood the meaning behind Wang Tao's words. The thought of that possibility caused everyone's gazes to turn to Suzette, who stood calmly to the side. Remembering Suzette's earlier statement that Candle Dragon was a team effort, they were all filled with skepticism. Could it be, really, as they suspected? Seeing that some understood the true meaning of his words, Wang Tao spoke his mind. That's right, I guess many viewers have already guessed. Actually, the person in charge of developing Nine-Tailed Fox, Professor Su, an honorary professor at Imperial University, is none other than Mr. Suzette, standing right here in the live stream. Whoosh! Wang Tao's statement instantly caused an uproar on the live stream. Suzette is an honorary professor at Imperial University? You're not kidding, are you? Such a young honorary professor? Are you sure? This is a huge joke. If Wang Tao isn't wrong, then the Nine-Tailed Fox is indeed no match for the Candle Dragon. How could such a big deal be a joke? Both the Nine-Tailed Fox and the Candle Dragon are Suzette's creations. Now that I think about what Chen Li said earlier, I really want to laugh myself to death. He's fighting with his left and right hands simultaneously. Is he praising Suzette, or is he praising Suzette? Honey, are you really an honorary professor at Imperial University? Gao Luofei looked at Suzette and asked curiously. Hearing what Gao Luofei said, and knowing things had come to this point, Suzette didn't have any intention of keeping it a secret and nodded, saying, yes, my husband is actually an honorary professor at Imperial University. I'm so happy, that's Imperial University. Although she didn't know when her husband became an honorary professor, it was already a very proud thing for Gao Luofei. Compared to the happy crowd, Chen Li's heart was ice cold. It's all your fault for being so talkative. Why did you have to provoke Suzette like that? Chapter 80, Suzette declined, otherwise, he would be the president of the Imperial University. Chen Li couldn't care less about anything else at this moment. The thought of inadvertently offending Suzette with his words filled him with deep regret. Suzette, who is he? He wasn't just some toy designer. He was an honorary professor at Imperial University. Suzette had been involved as the research leader in many of Imperial University's research projects. Although only the virtual imaging technology project had been completed in the past year, this didn't affect Suzette's status at Imperial University in the slightest. The honorary professorship was simply a compromise he had accepted after declining the honorary president title. It was safe to say that if Suzette were to recruit students, doctoral and graduate students would absolutely vie to study under him. After all, it was a prestigious position that would greatly enhance one's resume. And now, he had offended such a research heavyweight at Imperial University. Even if Chen Li himself wasn't particularly successful, his father's relationship with Imperial University might be affected because of this incident. Therefore, without saying a word, Chen Li immediately began frantically apologizing in the live stream. Professor Su, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Professor Su, I was blind to your greatness. Please forgive my rudeness. Professor Su, I am guilty. Rest assured, Mecha Electronics Company will immediately file for bankruptcy, and I will never appear before you again. After saying this, Chen Li immediately called his secretary. In less than 5 minutes, the official account of Mecha Electronics Company posted an announcement online. Mecha Electronics Company will soon undergo bankruptcy liquidation. This development caught everyone in the live stream off guard. Wow, that's too fast. They've already filed for bankruptcy. I have to say, Chen Li is really something. Such a big company, he just goes and declares bankruptcy. You think Chen Li lost out? Let me tell you, Chen Li actually gained a lot. As long as his father is around, he'll make a comeback sooner or later. Su Zhe hadn't really cared much about Chen Li from the beginning. Therefore, he just smiled at Chen Li's actions and ignored them. What troubled Su Zhe even more at this moment was Gao Luofei, who was looking at him with curious, bright eyes and a questioning gaze. Husband, how did you become an honorary professor at Imperial University? Gao Luofei was extremely curious about her husband's past. What kind of person was Su Zhe that he could become an honorary professor at Imperial University? That wasn't just any ordinary university, it was the top university in the country. Hearing Gao Luofei's question, Su Zhe truthfully replied, about 3 years ago, Imperial University had a research project that needed my help, so I went to assist, and that's how I was awarded the honorary professorship. Su Zhe spoke casually, but Gao Luofei didn't believe it was really that simple. That was Imperial University. If Imperial University couldn't handle something, it must be extremely difficult. And Su Zhe was able to handle something even Imperial University couldn't handle and be awarded an honorary professorship, so the importance of this research must be extremely high. However, while Gao Luofei didn't understand the details, that didn't mean the people in the live stream didn't know the whole story. Wow, don't believe Professor Su. It's not as simple as he makes it sound. I happened to be a student at Imperial University that year. I can't tell you the specifics of the project because it involves state secrets, but I can tell you one thing, Imperial University originally intended to award Professor Su the position of honorary president, but he declined, so he remains an honorary professor. I'm also a student at Imperial University. The person upstairs wasn't lying, they're telling the truth. Su Zhe is amazing. He's getting an honorary president position for just one project. The importance of that project must be off the charts, none of that really matters. Look at Goddess Luofei, she clearly doesn't know about Professor Su's past. I'm starting to think Goddess Luofei should give us a lecture on how to find someone as talented as Su Zhe. When Gao Luofei and the others saw the numerous comments from viewers in the live stream, their bright eyes widened in shock. Clearly, this news had greatly impacted them. An honorary professorship was already crazy enough, but they hadn't expected Su Zhe to originally be the honorary principal, which he had simply declined. Husband, are you still the husband I know? Gao Luofei grabbed Su Zhe's arms with her fair hands, her astonished eyes scanning him up and down. The Su Zhe she knew so well, inside and out, now seemed so unfamiliar. A toy designer creating a Mecha was already astonishing enough. But now, he was also an honorary professor at Imperial University. Someone who should have been the honorary principal of Imperial University. The difference wasn't just in social recognition and status, even in the mundane aspect of salary and benefits, the gap was enormous. Tell me, are you an alien? Did you possess my husband? Give him back. Seeing Gao Luofei's playful words, Su Zhe gently tapped her smooth forehead. What are you saying? This strength, that's my husband, Gao Luofei muttered, feeling the touch on her forehead. Then, she laughed happily. My judgment is really accurate. The husband I chose is indeed so outstanding. No, I have to talk to Dad about this and make him jealous. Looking at the silly Gao Luofei, Su Zhe smiled helplessly. Professor Su, I remember that an honorary professor at Imperial University should have corresponding salary and benefits, right? Chapter 81. It's clearly fake, so why does it smell good? Bingbing asked Su Zhe. Yes, honey. You should also have some honorary professorship certificates or documents, right? Let me see them. Hearing Bingbing's question, Gao Luofei also spoke to Su Zhe. Su Zhe had anticipated what Bingbing and Gao Luofei would say. Therefore, he didn't say much, turned around, opened the sofa cabinet next to him, and took out a red certificate and a bank card. This is my certificate, and this is the bank card for the subsidy issued by Imperial University. I haven't used this bank card since it was given to me, so I don't know exactly how much money is in it. Su Zhe knew that for Bingbing, asking for the bank card was just to confirm the approximate amount of Su Zhe's financial benefits. After all, according to relevant regulations, this part of the funds was considered Su Zhe's hidden savings. Su Zhe handed the certificate and bank card to the incredibly curious Gao Luofei, then picked up his phone, made a call, and started checking the bank card's balance. Hello, Mr. Su, how can I help you? Given Su Zhe's status, he was undoubtedly a major client of the bank, with a dedicated bank assistant at his disposal. Could you check how much money is in my bank card ending in 234? Upon hearing Suze's request, the bank assistant immediately began the check. Hello Mr. Su, your bank card ending in 234 currently has 9,212,232 yuan. Okay, I understand, thank you, Mr. Su, you're too kind, it's my duty. After hearing the bank assistant's reply, Suze hung up. For Suzette, 9 million yuan was nothing. So much, although Suze's phone wasn't on speakerphone, in such a confined space, with everyone standing so close, Gao Luofei, Bingbing, and the others naturally heard it. The viewers in the live stream also heard the amount on the bank card. After learning the exact amount, they were surprised, yet also understandable. The ancients were right. There's a wealth of knowledge in books. Just 3 years, and he's already made over 9 million. 9 million in 3 years, that's over 3 million a year. The salary and subsidies for an honorary professor at Beijing University are really high. High? What's so high about it? Professor Su has made a huge contribution to the country. Those popular idols earn tens or hundreds of millions a month. I think this is too little. Yes, Professor Su's salary is so high, I'm not jealous anymore. If only I could study hard in the future, I wouldn't have to worry about money. I'm only in the first year of junior high this year. I want to study hard. Let me tell you, generally speaking, an honorary professor's monthly subsidy is only around 10,000 yuan. Professor Su being able to receive so much can only mean that he's done a very important project. The importance of this project is absolutely not to be underestimated. It's definitely at the national level, and it might even be related to the military. Now that you mention it, I'm a little curious. What kind of project did Suze do? I hereby announce that, as of now, the total amount of hidden money found in Suze's stash is 100,512,232 yuan, officially surpassing 100 million. Bingbing's heart was filled with mixed emotions as she announced this. Even when she first took over this program, Bingbing only thought that the show would uncover tens or hundreds of thousands of yuan in hidden money, at most 1 million. Who would have thought that she would encounter such a prodigy as Suzette? In just 2 days, the amount of hidden money discovered had already exceeded 100 million. Moreover, this was only inadvertently revealed by Suzette. Sun Li and Xiaolan, the two experts in finding hidden money, hadn't even exerted much effort yet. If the two of them rolled up their sleeves and searched for Suze's hidden money, Bingbing couldn't bear to watch the scene. However, while thinking about this, Bingbing was also somewhat curious. Just how much money did Suzette have? What was the bottom line for Suze's hidden money? Gao Luofei fumbled with Suze's honorary professor's certificate, looking at the image of Suze on the certificate, a man of high spirits yet composed and reserved. Her mind was filled with many thoughts. Suze, my husband, what kind of person are you? What have you been through in the past 28 years? Perhaps participating in Bingbing's show, finding hidden money, was the right thing to do. If it weren't for it, it might have taken me a long time to truly understand you. Wow, what's that fragrance? It smells so good. Suddenly, Gao Luofei felt a refreshing fragrance flood her nostrils. She felt as if she could smell the fragrance of flowers and the fresh air after the rain. How could this be? This garden is clearly fake, a virtual creation. Is it just her imagination? But Gao Luofei didn't dwell on it. After all, it was a basement, and the garden was fake. How could she really smell that? However, Gao Luofei's thoughts changed after hearing Bingbing's question. Fifei, what kind of floral scent and fresh air do you smell? Isn't the garden fake? How can Bingbing smell it too? Bingbing, you can smell it too, Gao Luofei asked in surprise. Yes, not only me, but Sister Lan and Brother Sun can smell it too. Hearing Gao Luofei's question, Bingbing explained. As Bingbing spoke, Xiaolan and Sun Li nodded in agreement. At this moment, Xiaolan and Sun Li felt it was truly amazing. Even though the sunlight and garden were fake, they could actually smell various floral scents, dew, and the fresh air, as if they were in a forest. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 The Candle Dragon Unleashes Its Power, Immersive Experience. Bingbing and Gao Luofei's conversation was naturally overheard by the viewers in the live stream. The viewers were quite surprised by their discussion. This garden is beautiful, but a fake is still a fake. It can't become real. How could we smell the flowers? Are Bingbing and the others just fooling us? Probably not. It's possible for one or two people to say that, but even someone as serious as Brother Sun said he smelled it. So this shouldn't be fake, no way. Could there be some kind of high-tech in this basement that can make it so realistic? Full of questions, the only way for everyone to get answers was from Suzette, the only person currently involved. Therefore, all eyes were on Suzette. Finally, Gao Luofei spoke first, looking puzzled, and asked Suzette, "Honey, these are all fake, how can we smell different scents?" Hearing Gao Luofei's question, Suzette explained, "This is actually related to an immersive sensory device I developed. This device is a product I designed to work with a Candle Dragon virtual imaging device. When the Candle Dragon plays a certain scene, the immersive sensory device will activate, releasing scents and other odors appropriate to the scene, creating a sense of being there. The reason you didn't smell anything earlier is because the device needs time to activate. Now that it's activated, the effect is as you see." Hearing Suzette's detailed explanation, everyone present was quite impressed. Being able to release corresponding scents based on the virtual image meant that when watching a mukbang, the viewers sitting here could also smell the food the streamer was eating. When watching a movie, the scenes will be recreated in terms of sound, color, and smell, which is far superior to 3D, 4D, or 5D movies. This is a true immersive experience. Watching world travel documentaries doesn't mean that viewers are indirectly experiencing the rich and varied worlds those people have lived through. In a sense, they've already traveled the world. Thinking about this makes it quite simple. Soon, Gao Luofei, Bingbing, and the others realized this. Gao Luofei's eyes lit up, and she hugged Suzette's arm, saying expectantly, "Honey, does that mean we can experience different scenes firsthand in the future? Theoretically speaking, as long as we collect the corresponding scents, we can." With Suzette's agreement, Gao Luofei immediately said excitedly, "Honey, that means watching Silent Hill with this would be really exciting." Hearing Gao Luofei's words, Suzette was speechless. Who would have thought that someone as beautiful and seemingly icy as Gao Luofei would enjoy horror movies? It's fair to say that the scarier the horror movie, the more excited Gao Luofei becomes. Having watched so many horror movies, Gao Luofei no longer feels much fear of those that are already terrifying to most people. This is precisely why Gao Luofei always regrets not being able to find any horror movies that interest her anymore. Suzette once asked Gao Luofei if she wasn't afraid. In Gao Luofei's words, "There aren't any supernatural monsters like those in the movies, so what's there to be afraid of? It's just entertainment in her spare time, isn't that great?" And now, with Suzette's Hulan, Gao Luofei can finally watch those classic horror movies in an immersive way. Perhaps this will bring her an even more thrilling experience. However, thinking of this, Gao Luofei still felt a little regretful. "Honey, it would be great if we could have that kind of tactile sensation. It would be even better if we could experience the feeling of those missions." Hearing what Gao Luofei said, Suzette said, "Of course we can, wife. See that sofa? That sofa is a tactile sensor, Zulan. Strictly speaking, the virtual imaging device plus this immersive sensory device, plus the tactile sensor, these three devices together make up Zulan." After Suzette finished speaking, Gao Luofei couldn't wait to go over. "What kind of monster is this? How can it have all kinds of devices?" Bingbing muttered as she watched Gao Luofei and Suzette walk towards the sofa. Zhaolan and Sun Li, who were standing next to Bingbing, nodded in agreement when they heard Bingbing's muttering. At this moment, in the live broadcast room of the program team, after hearing what Suzette said, the official live broadcast room, which had been exploding countless times, exploded once again. "Holy crap, there's actually such a device? Isn't this something that only appears in movies and novels? This Candle Dragon is simply invincible. If I had it, I could experience any scene I see firsthand." "Don't be shy, I don't believe none of you have thought of that function. Don't make me spell it out. What are you talking about? I don't understand." "I wonder if Suzette will sell this Candle Dragon. If he does, I'll definitely buy one." Invincible, take off. Suzette's products are getting more and more amazing. Judging from Professor Su's previous actions, the Candle Dragon should be a unique product and won't be sold to the public. What a pity, sigh. While everyone in the live stream was sighing, Suzette and Gao Luofei were sitting on the sofa. With Suzette's help, Gao Luofei chose to watch a classic horror movie, Silent Hill. What exactly in Chapter 83 led to Suzette becoming an honorary professor? Honey, you're amazing. This invention is so cool. After the movie ended, ignoring Bing Bing and Xiaolan, who were now sitting pale-faced on the sofa, Gao Luofei exclaimed excitedly. It had been so long, so very long. Gao Luofei hadn't experienced anything like this in ages. This viewing experience truly gave her a completely different feeling. As long as you like it, honey. Seeing Gao Luofei's fondness for Candle Dragon, Suzette was naturally delighted. However, Gao Luofei's love for this type of movie also left Suzette somewhat helpless. Because of this, he really missed out on a lot of fun. Suzette's Candle Dragon is truly eye-opening. At this moment, in the courtyard, Gao Yuanshan and Director Wang, who had arranged to meet beforehand, were sitting at the stone table. While savoring the precious tea that Director Wang had painstakingly obtained, they looked at the tablet computer standing in the middle of the stone table and exclaimed in admiration. Imagine if you were in a dead end, with no way to go. With this Hulan device, a convincingly realistic scenario could be preset, allowing for an instantaneous disappearance and successful escape. Of course, this is just wishful thinking. Judging from the current live stream results, the Hulan equipment is simply too massive. A regular car couldn't move it, it would require at least a pickup truck. This inconvenience limits its usability. At this moment, Director Wang couldn't be more envious of Gao Yuanshan. Leaving aside the incredible, heaven-defying technology Suzette had revealed, just the honorary professorship alone, if it hadn't been revealed today, Director Wang wouldn't have known about it. Old Gao, you're truly blessed. Director Wang was genuinely envious of Gao Yuanshan. Suzette was truly a gem, and an extraordinary one at that. This was the first time in many years that Director Wang had envied Gao Yuanshan. Not for any other reason than that Gao Yuanshan had a son-in-law like Suzette. Suzette was such an outstanding talent, even among the many outstanding young people he had met, none could compare. Hearing Director Wang's envious words, Gao Yuanshan's old face beamed with pride. How much Gao Yuanshan had previously disapproved of Gao Luofei's decision to marry Suzette, now he was incredibly grateful that his daughter had stuck to her own decision. Of course. Look who his son-in-law is. Seeing Gao Yuanshan's smug expression, Director Wang opened his mouth as if to say something, but ultimately remained silent. He knew his old friend, anything he said now would only make Gao Yuanshan more smug. Gao Yuanshan, seeing Director Wang's silence, didn't seem to mind and continued to rave about Suzette's virtues. At the same time, Gao Yuanshan's mind was searching for information about scientific and technological breakthroughs from 3 years ago. 3 years ago? Thinking about 3 years ago gave Gao Yuanshan a headache. There were indeed many technological breakthroughs 3 years ago. A rough estimate puts at least 6 major breakthroughs, covering the 5 major technological categories of the sky, ocean, and land, some large, some small, but all significant. However, most of these breakthroughs were aided by revival technology. Who is Fuchsing? Is it male or female? Does it represent an individual or an organization? Even Gao Yuanshan had no way of knowing this information, it was shrouded in mystery. Despite his curiosity, Gao Yuanshan held Fuchsing in the deepest respect. Technological breakthroughs weren't achieved overnight. Behind Fuchsing's seemingly glamorous facade lay unimaginable hard work. In Gao Yuanshan's mind, Fuchsing and Suzette were definitely not the same person, so Fuchsing's technologies certainly weren't developed by Suzette. Besides the technologies developed by Fuchsing, what other technology had been developed? That's it. Suddenly, Gao Yuanshan had a flash of inspiration. He remembered a technology from 3 years ago, but then he immediately dismissed it. That technology couldn't have been developed by Suzette, could it? Chapter 84 All-Terrain, All-Weather Individual Mobile Scanning Radar. That technology was none other than a completely revolutionary radar scanning technology, the All-Terrain Man-Portable Mobile Scanning Radar. It's important to understand that, thanks to academician Liu's efforts, China currently holds a commanding lead in naval and air radar technology, far surpassing the rest of the world. Whether it's near-shore flight or previously undetectable radar blind spots, academician Liu has solved these problems using the technology of this new radar. Compared to China's existing technology, other countries are lagging behind by a generation in naval and air radar. For this reason, academician Liu was awarded the highest national honor, the highest national science and technology award, truly a national hero. Therefore, top radar experts both domestically and internationally reached a tacit consensus. there would be no significant development in the radar field within the next 10 years. However, the emergence of the all-terrain man-portable mobile scanning radar 3 years ago shattered this notion. As the name suggests, the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar is suitable for individual soldiers, in all terrains and weather conditions. Not only is the design compact and sophisticated, but compared to the original single-soldier radar that required 2 or 3 people to operate, the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar can be operated by a single person in a user-friendly manner. Furthermore, because the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar is only the size of a small handbag, it is not only easy to carry but also allows for complete concealment in the field, ensuring the soldier's position is not revealed during use. Beyond its ease of operation, its functionality has also seen a qualitative leap. A single all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar can compile information on the terrain, personnel distribution, and weapons and equipment carried by personnel within a 10-kilometer radius onto a single map. Using this map, regardless of the complexity of the terrain, a single operator can find the most convenient, safest, and most efficient route to complete the mission. Imagine being able to acquire such sophisticated and simple battlefield information, anticipating the enemy's moves. It's easy to see how this would provide a decisive information advantage. Not only can it improve the efficiency and success rate of warfare, but it can also minimize personnel losses. For this reason, the emergence of all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar has fundamentally changed the way we fight on the battlefield. One person can perform multiple roles. However, while all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar sounds simple, its research is extremely difficult. It requires not only miniaturization but also overcoming numerous technical hurdles. Before this technology was completed, the military invested billions in research to overcome it, but the results were not significant. For 3 whole years, there was little progress. However, when the project was deemed impossible to succeed within 20 years by military research experts and academicians from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Chinese Academy of Engineering, it was transferred to Beijing University. The transfer to Beijing University was simply to train students in related majors. There was no expectation that Beijing University would actually develop the technology. But who could have imagined that such a difficult technology would be miraculously overcome by Beijing University just 1 year later? When the news reached the ears of top academicians in the military, engineering, and academies, they all thought that Beijing University had made a mistake, releasing such an unreliable grandiose project just to claim credit. However, all doubts vanished after these research leaders saw the finished all-terrain, all-weather, man-portable mobile scanning radar. No matter how much they disbelieved or refused to accept the fact, the result was undeniable. The all-terrain, all-weather, man-portable mobile scanning radar had indeed been researched and manufactured within a year of being handed over to Beijing University. After testing, it was confirmed that the all-terrain technology was nothing other than a completely revolutionary radar scanning technology, the all-terrain, man-portable mobile scanning radar. It should be noted that, thanks to academician Liu's efforts, China currently holds a commanding lead in maritime and air radar technology, far surpassing the rest of the world. Whether it's near-shore flight or previously undetectable radar blind spots, academician Liu has solved these problems using the technology of this new radar. Compared to China's existing technology, other countries in the world are lagging behind by a generation in maritime and air radar technology. Therefore, academician Liu was awarded the highest national honor and received the highest national science and technology award, truly a national hero. Consequently, top radar experts both nationally and internationally reached a tacit consensus: there would be no significant development in the radar field within the next 10 years. However, the emergence of the all-terrain man-portable mobile scanning radar 3 years ago shattered this notion. As the name suggests, the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar is suitable for individual use in all terrains and weather conditions. Not only is its design compact and sophisticated, compared to the original man-portable radar which required 2 or 3 people to operate, the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar can be operated by a single person in a user-friendly manner. Furthermore, because the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar is only the size of a small handbag, it is not only easy to carry but also allows for complete concealment in the field, ensuring the soldier's position is not revealed during use. Besides its ease of operation, its functionality has also seen a qualitative leap. A single all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar can compile information on the terrain, personnel distribution, and weapons and equipment carried by personnel within a 10-kilometer radius of its deployment onto a single map. Using this map, regardless of the complexity of the terrain, a single combatant can find the most convenient, safest, and most efficient route to complete their mission. Imagine being able to acquire such sophisticated and simple battlefield information, anticipating the enemy's moves. It would undoubtedly provide a significant information advantage. This not only improves the efficiency and success rate of warfare but also minimizes personnel losses. Therefore, the emergence of all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar has fundamentally changed the way modern warfare is conducted. One person can perform multiple roles. However, while all-terrain, all-weather man-portable scanning radar sounds simple, its development is extremely complex. It requires not only miniaturization but also overcoming numerous technical challenges. Before this technology was completed, the military invested billions in research to overcome it, but the results were not significant. For 3 whole years, there was little progress. However, when the project was collectively deemed impossible to succeed within 20 years by military research experts and academicians from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Chinese Academy of Engineering, it was transferred to Beijing University. The transfer to Beijing University was simply to train students in related fields. There was no expectation that the university would actually develop the technology. But who could have imagined that such a difficult technology would be miraculously overcome by Beijing University just 1 year later? When this news reached the ears of top academicians in the military, the Chinese Academy of Engineering, and the Chinese Academy of Sciences, they all thought Beijing University had made a mistake, releasing such an unreliable project just to claim credit. However, all doubts vanished after the research leaders saw the finished all-terrain, all-weather, man-portable mobile scanning radar. No matter how much they disbelieved or refused to accept the fact, the result was undeniable. A year after being transferred to Imperial University, the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar was indeed researched and manufactured. After testing, its performance not only achieved the initial research goals but even exceeded them by more than double. Now, 3 years later, due to its unique characteristics, the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar has been deployed in actual combat. However, for secrecy, it is only used by the country's top special forces, such as the Wolf Warrior Special Forces, and few people know about it. They are just waiting for the day when the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar will make a name for itself. However, the more Gao Luofei understood the importance of this project, the less he could believe that it was possibly completed by his previously unreliable son-in-law, Su Zhen. Such a project, spanning multiple research fields and completely unrelated to Su Zhen's previous Mecha technology, could it really have been completed by Su Zhen? If so, just how talented is Su Zhen? He is an all-around genius, 1 in a million. Old Gao, you must have thought of that project too, right? Gao Luofei knew, so how could Director Wang not know? After learning about the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar, Director Wang immediately ordered it to be equipped for use by personnel in the security department. Although in the end only the most elite and reliable agents possessed it, it was indeed a powerful tool for completing missions. Old Wang, it can't be that project, right? I don't want you to be so smug, but judging from the timeline, it seems like there's only been that one project, Director Wang said, looking at Gao Luofei. Forget it, why are we guessing? The result is in your hands, Old Wang. Let's just talk facts. All the impossibilities and possibilities depended on the tablet in Director Wang's hand. Once Su Zhen's information was displayed, all the guesses naturally became clear. Then, under Director Wang's operation, Su Zhen's resume information was opened. The performance of the all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar not only achieved the initial research goals but even exceeded them by more than double. 3 years have passed, and due to the unique nature of the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar, it has been deployed in actual combat. However, for secrecy reasons, it is only used by the country's top special forces, such as the Wolf Warriors Special Forces, and few people know about it. They are just waiting for the day when the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar will make a name for itself. However, the more Gao Luofei understands the importance of this project, the less he can believe that it was very likely completed by his previously unreliable son-in-law, Su Zhen. Such a project, spanning multiple research fields and completely unrelated to Suze's previous Mecha technology. Could it really have been completed by Suze? If so, just how talented is Suze? He is an all-rounder, a one-in-a-million genius. Old Gao, you must have thought of that project too, right? What Gao Yuanshan knew, how could Director Wang not know? Upon learning about the all-terrain, all-weather man-portable mobile scanning radar, Director Wang immediately requested that it be equipped for use by personnel in the security department. Although only the most elite and reliable agents ultimately possessed it, it was indeed a powerful tool for completing missions. Old Wang, it shouldn't be that project, right? I don't want you to get cocky, but judging by the timeline, it seems like there's only that one project, Director Wang said, looking at Gao Yuanshan. Forget it, why are we guessing? The result is in your hands, Old Wang. Let's just talk facts. All the impossibilities and possibilities depended on the tablet in Director Wang's hand. Once Suze's information was displayed, all the guesses naturally became clear. Then, under Director Wang's operation, Suze's resume information was opened. Chapter 85 Aeoli Glasses Suze's Company. Name, Suze. Gender, male. Marital status, married. Director Wang and Gao Yuanshan skipped over the information they already knew about Suze, scrolling up the page on their tablets. Soon, the S-level classified information appeared on the screen. Position, honorary professor, Imperial University. Experience, led and successfully developed an all-terrain, all-weather, man-portable mobile scanning radar project over a year. Director Wang and Gao Yuanshan exchanged a glance, their eyes filled with both surprise and relief. They no longer believed that Suze had developed the all-terrain, all-weather, man-portable mobile scanning radar, but now the evidence was irrefutable. The country couldn't possibly be wrong on such matters. Old Gao, your son-in-law is a human. Director Wang didn't mean to insult Suze. He meant that such achievements and abundant scientific knowledge were beyond the reach of the normal person. Let alone Director Wang. Gao Yuanshan had seen countless geniuses in the army, but he had never met anyone like Suze. Gao Yuanshan nodded in agreement upon hearing Director Wang's words. At this moment, Gao Yuanshan's initial pride in Suze was gradually fading. Of course, it wasn't that Gao Yuanshan was no longer proud, but rather that his heart was filled with increasing doubt. Why was Suze, who could develop mechas, all-terrain, all-weather individual mobile scanning radar, and the Candle Dragon, keeping such a low profile? He was practically a prodigy. Such a person should generally be under the country's special care. So how could he become an ordinary toy designer at a popular toy company? And then quickly fall in love with his daughter, Gao Luofei, and get married? Whether as a high-ranking general with 2 stars on his shoulders, or as a father concerned about his daughter's happiness and comfort, Gao Yuanshan's feelings towards Suze were becoming increasingly serious. Gao Yuanshan had already made up his mind. Upon returning, he would arrange for a special investigation into Suze's affairs to see if they could uncover any ulterior motives behind Suze's actions. However, besides confirming that Suze had indeed become an honorary professor at the Imperial University because of the all-terrain, all-weather individual mobile scanning radar project, the next piece of information caught the attention of both Gao Yuanshan and Director Wang. Old Gao, look at this, Director Wang interrupted Gao Yuanshan, who was deep in thought. Looking at the tablet that Director Wang had turned to the side, Gao Yuanshan was stunned by what he saw. His pupils widened, clearly incredulous at what he had witnessed. How can this be? Aeoli Glasses Suze's company. Indeed, the following content concerned Aeoli Glass. A portion of Aeoli Glass's annual revenue will be transferred through a special channel to a bank account associated with Suze. It appears that the Aeoli Glass Group, managed by Songzhou, is Suze's company. No information related to Suze has been found for other companies managed by Songzhou, but there are suspected connections to Suze. When these companies were established, Suze packaged their various shares through a complex network of offshore companies. Even Suze himself was confused, let alone others. Of course, it's not impossible to discover, but it would require a lot of effort. The Aeoli Glass Group's affairs were, after all, related to the Fallen Angels, a U.S. spy organization. So naturally, as a military personnel, Gao Yuanshan had some knowledge of it. After understanding that everything originated from Aeoli Glass's installation of glass curtain walls, Gao Yuanshan didn't investigate further. However, Gao Yuanshan never expected that Suze, who couldn't even afford a wedding house at the time of his marriage, would actually be the mastermind behind the Aeoli Group. If that's the case, Then some doubts become clear. Director Wang knew more about the Yaoli Group than Gao Yuanshan. If the Yaoli Group was Su Zhe's company, then some of its actions could be explained. For example, the agarwood carving hidden in the glass curtain wall, or the painting nymph of the Luo River. As a loyal viewer of Finding Hidden Money, Director Wang was now highly suspicious that the nymph of the Luo River painting he had just seen was genuine. After all, Director Wang knew that the original nymph of the Luo River painting, after being auctioned off by the mysterious person, was directly transported back to China through various channels. Old Gao, your son-in-law is quite the hidden talent. I didn't expect him to be so rich. Yaoli Group is a company with a market value of billions. This is no small sum. Hearing Director Wang's teasing, Gao Yuanshan said, this kid, I thought he was already bold enough with the amount of money he had before, but I didn't expect him to hide such a large company. No way. I have to talk to Luofei about this. With Su Zhe hiding so much money, he's bound to cause trouble. If they divorce, my daughter will suffer so much. Hearing Gao Yuanshan's mutterings, Director Wang said irritably, Old Gao, your sarcasm is too hurtful. Someone as outstanding as Su Zhe, do you think Luofei would divorce him? I know you perfectly well enough to know. Do you think you can let Su Zhe leave? Our General Gao said that his son-in-law can only die in battle, not divorce. Seeing that his thoughts had been exposed by Director Wang, Gao Yuanshan just chuckled, unconcerned, as it didn't affect him much anyway. However, Gao Yuanshan couldn't conveniently discuss the all-terrain, all-weather individual mobile scanning radar project with his daughter, but he felt it necessary to tell her about the Yaoli Group. Chapter 86 Yaoli Glass is finally exposed. Without hesitation, Gao Yuanshan saw Gao Luofei preparing to leave with Su Zhe in the live stream. Under Director Wang's watchful gaze, Gao Yuanshan picked up his phone and dialed his daughter's number. Seeing Gao Yuanshan's actions, Director Wang wore a look of anticipation. He was curious to see Gao Luofei's reaction when she learned that Su Zhe owned such a large company as Yaoli Group without her knowledge. Honey, wouldn't it be great if the Candle Dragon could be used conveniently anytime, anywhere? That way, we could see different scenery whenever we wanted, Gao Luofei said weakly to Su Zhe. Gao Luofei understood that Su Zhe's ability to create a device like the Candle Dragon was already extraordinary. If she said anything more, it would be greedy. Gao Luofei stuck out her tongue and said to Su Zhe, honey, I was greedy. Just pretend I didn't say anything. However, little did Gao Luofei know that Su Zhe had already achieved what she described. Using compression technology, Su Zhe had condensed the enormous Candle Dragon into a device the size of a baseball. Of course, while the performance remained largely unchanged, the range of influence was significantly smaller than the current Candle Dragon in the basement. This new Candle Dragon could only affect objects within a 30-meter radius. It was already late when the two had originally planned to leave. After leaving the basement, Gao Luofei discussed going out with Su Zhe. Honey, wait, my dad's calling. Just as Gao Luofei was about to leave, she noticed her phone ringing, picked it up, and seeing it was her father calling, said to Su Zhe standing beside her. Hearing Gao Luofei's words, Su Zhe didn't think much of it and nodded for her to answer the phone. After answering, Gao Luofei said to Gao Yuanshan on the other end of the line, Dad, Su Zhe and I are just about to leave. Is there something wrong? Gao Yuanshan understood the underlying meaning in Gao Luofei's words perfectly. She just didn't want him to disturb their wedding anniversary. Fifei, I was watching the show you and Xiaos were on at your uncle's place. I happened to learn something about Xiaos from him, and I thought it was necessary to tell you. Hearing her father watching the show, Gao Luofei became very curious about what Gao Yuanshan was about to say. Gao Luofei knew very well that her father wouldn't say this unless it was important. And most importantly, he learned it from her uncle. Others might not know who uncle was, but Gao Luofei knew very well. He was the famous director of the Secret Service. His information was definitely highly confidential. Dad, what do you want to say? As she spoke, Gao Luofei also looked at Su Zhe, who was standing at the door. What could it be related to Su Zhe? Seeing Gao Luofei's gaze, Su Zhe smiled slightly and nodded. Fifei, you know Yaoli Glass, right? The Yaoli Glass Group is very likely Su Zhe's company, and Song Zhou helps Su Zhe manage the Yaoli Glass Group. Wow! When Gao Luofei heard what her father said, her bright eyes widened, and her breathing became slightly rapid. Clearly, Gao Luofei was utterly shocked by what Gao Yuanshan had said. Yaoli Glass Group, that's a conglomerate worth billions. Such a large company, could it really be her husband's business? Could her father have made a mistake? Dad, are you sure you didn't see wrong? Yaoli Glass Group belongs to Suzette, Gao Luofei immediately asked her father with a questioning tone. Hearing her daughter's anxious voice, Gao Yuanshan immediately replied, Fifei, if I wasn't sure, do you think I would tell you this? Logically speaking, this is a private matter between you and Suzette, and I shouldn't interfere. However, Dad still feels this is no small matter, so I'm telling you in advance, how you and Suzette resolve this is up to Dad. After Gao Yuanshan finished speaking, before Gao Luofei could say anything, he quickly hung up the phone. Xiaozette, don't blame me for being heartless, I'm doing this for your own good. If Fei finds out about this later, you'll be even more upset, Gao Yuanshan reassured himself. Then, he watched the live stream with a look of anticipation, clearly very concerned about the outcome of the situation he had orchestrated. What? Yaoli Glass belongs to Suzette. It's worth noting that Gao Luofei's voice wasn't quiet when she said this. Not only Suzette and Bingbing, but also the viewers in the live stream clearly heard what Gao Luofei said. Upon hearing Gao Luofei say that Yaoli Glass Group belonged to Suzette, the live stream immediately erupted in excitement. Holy crap, no way, why would the goddess say that? Yaoli Glass Group belongs to Suzette, are you kidding me? Where did this news come from? Didn't you see it was the goddess's father calling? This news must have come from her father. If it was the goddess's father calling, then I feel like this is very likely true. Did you see that? Professor Su was so calm before, but now I see a hint of panic on his face. Hearing the dial tone, Gao Luofei, unable to get through to her father, looked at Suzette, who was standing at the door looking a little embarrassed. Honey, Dad said Yaoli Glass Group belongs to you. Do you have anything to say about this? As she spoke, Gao Luofei slowly walked towards Suzette. Chapter 87 Husband, I took advantage of you. Seeing Gao Luofei's aggressive approach, Suzette smiled sheepishly and said with a lack of confidence, Wife, is Dad mistaken? Isn't Yaoli Glass Songzhou's? How can it be mine? In truth, with Suzette's years of experience and shrewdness, he could have remained expressionless and without revealing a single flaw, but he felt it unnecessary. Since Gao Yuanshan had said those words, it was clear that even if Gao Yuanshan wasn't entirely certain, he was pretty close. Rather than denying it and risking hostility from his father-in-law, it was better to deliberately reveal the flaw. Of course, Suzette didn't really care about anyone's attitude towards him. The only reason he cared about his father-in-law's opinion wasn't because Gao Yuanshan was a general, but because Gao Yuanshan was Gao Luofei's biological father, nothing more. Gao Luofei saw everything Suzette did. After hanging up the phone, Gao Luofei, who had wondered if her father had made a mistake, instantly dismissed her doubts after seeing Suzette's current demeanor. Looking at Suzette, he seemed rather guilty. Not only Gao Luofei, but also Bingbing, Xiaolan, and Sun Li, standing not far from Suzette, had all noticed his reaction. They shared Gao Luofei's thought, was Suzette really the owner of Yaoli Glass Group? Honey, should Songzhou come over and explain? Gao Luofei leaned close to Suzette, their noses less than 20 centimeters apart. She simply looked into Suzette's eyes and spoke calmly, clearly not believing what he was saying. Hearing Gao Luofei's words and looking at her delicate face so close to his, Suzette smiled slightly and said to her, Wife, you're right. Yaoli Glass Group is indeed managed by Songzhou on my behalf. Having received Suzette's confirmation, Gao Luofei moved away from him. On her beautiful face, Suzette could visibly notice the increasing tension in her expression. At the same time, it was noticed that Gao Luofei's eyes had dimmed, completely different from her previous cheerful and happy expression. Gao Luofei's reaction was truly pitiful. Clearly, she was very disappointed and heartbroken that Suzette had kept the matter of Yaoli Glass Group from her. Now I understand why Wang Huan said yesterday that Yaoli Glass had a hidden event, so that's what it was all about. As for Sun Li, after hearing Suzette's confirmation, he seemed to understand why Wang Huan had said what he did on the phone yesterday. It was his boss's arrangement, how could Wang Huan make a mistake? At the same time, Sun Li also understood why Wang Huan had been promoted yesterday. He had covered up such a big thing for Suzette. Wang Huan's promotion was only natural. With Suzette's confirmation, not only did Gao Luofei react so strongly, but the audience in the official live stream of Finding Hidden Money were instantly thrilled. I was wondering why Suzette was so lucky. So that's how it is, holy crap, so it wasn't some hidden operation after all. The real boss behind Yaoli Glass is Suzette. Yaoli Glass Group, that's a conglomerate with a market value of over 5 billion. I never imagined it was Suzette's business. Does that mean Suzette is actually a billionaire? So much wealth at such a young age? A real catch, most likely. But why didn't Professor Su tell his wife about something so important? What else could it be? Think about it, if they divorced, wouldn't this fortune be split equally? If Gao Luofei didn't know about this company, then Suzette wouldn't have to give Gao Luofei any money. Right, so that's how it is. I didn't expect Suzette to be so shrewd. I used to have a crush on him, but now I'm just neutral. Gao Luofei must be heartbroken right now. Her husband of many years actually betrayed her like this. What are you all saying? Who is Professor Su? How could he do something so despicable? Exactly, don't always judge others by your own standards. Professor Su must have his reasons for not wanting to talk about it. What era are we living in? These days, regardless of whether it's notarized or not, premarital property is premarital property. If Suzette doesn't want to give Gao Luofei any money, he can just give her the dividends in advance. That way, there won't be any marital property income. Sigh, no matter what the truth is, this will inevitably create a rift between the couple. Just as the live stream was buzzing with discussion about this, a heartbroken Gao Luofei spoke up. Husband, why didn't you tell me about this? I was the one who wanted you to take advantage of me. How did it become me taking advantage of you? You're so annoying. At this moment, Gao Luofei's face was streaked with tears, two clear lines of tears sliding down her cheeks, the crystal clear teardrops like pearls, adding a unique charm to her appearance. However, Gao Luofei's words left everyone who thought she would have a big fight with Suzette confused. This was Suzette's hidden stash of money. It was clearly Suzette taking advantage of her. How come it's Gao Luofei who's taking advantage of Suzette? Hey, isn't this a mistake? Shouldn't they be arguing? This plot isn't right. Director, change the disc. Gao Luofei said this because before their marriage, she and Suzette had jointly signed a document. The document was quite simple. It stipulated that if Suzette and Gao Luofei divorced, their premarital property would be included in their marital property and divided equally. Chapter 88 The incomparably enviable consort Gao Luo. It's important to understand that when Suzette and Gao Luofei got married, their assets were visibly vastly different. Gao Luofei, a national goddess, had accumulated at least 200 or 300 million yuan in savings over the years, a difference of at least 1,000 times compared to what Suzette, an ordinary toy designer, could earn. It was Gao Luofei herself who proposed signing the marriage contract. Her thinking was simple. Suzette was the person she had chosen, the one she wanted to spend her life with. Since they were going to spend their lives together, why divide their assets? Even if she misjudged him and they eventually separated, the lost money would be a way of paying for her mistake and teaching her a lesson. At the same time, this money could be seen as payment for the years Suzette had spent with her and the beautiful times they had shared. You could call Gao Luofei love-struck, but this was her true inner thought. However, now that it's been revealed that Suzette owns Yaoli Glass Group, it's clear that the real beneficiary of this document isn't Suzette as Gao Luofei originally thought, but herself. Yaoli Glass Group has a market value of over 5 billion yuan. While market value can't compare to the actual amount of money they can mobilize, it depends on the company. Given Yaoli Glass Group's current development, if it were to be sold for 5 billion yuan, many giants would be willing to buy it. They all understand that within a few years, Yaoli Glass Group's market value will be far higher than it is now. And now, according to the agreement Suzette and Gao Luofei previously signed, this means that Yaoli Glass Group, which originally belonged to Suzette as his private asset, has become their marital property. If Gao Luofei could accept the fact that Suzette had 100 million yuan in hidden money before, now that she knows Suzette actually owns Yaoli Glass Group, her initial unhappiness and sadness about Suzette hiding money have vanished. Instead, she feels extremely apprehensive and deeply moved by Suzette's love for her. Before their marriage, Suzette already owned Yaoli Glass. Given this, the fact that Suzette signed the agreement she proposed without hesitation showed just how much he loved her. Thinking of this, Gao Luofei felt enveloped in Suzette's love. As for receiving such a large sum of money, Gao Luofei didn't care at all. Because Gao Luofei knew that she and Suzette would always love each other, and no one could separate them. Husband, thank you for loving me. Gao Luofei, tears welling in her eyes, threw herself into Suzette's arms, her glistening tears soaking his shirt. Stroking Gao Luofei's smooth, long hair, Suzette gently replied, "I should also thank you for allowing us to meet in this vast sea of people. Can anyone tell me what happened?" Wow, Suzette had such a large sum of money. Shouldn't Gao Luofei be angry? Why is she so excited? I'm completely confused. I've been watching the live stream the whole time, but I feel like I missed a part of it. The many viewers in the live stream were utterly bewildered by Suzette and Gao Luofei's behavior, unable to understand why something as seemingly insignificant as hidden money, which should greatly affect a couple's relationship, was behaving so differently for them. While the viewers in the live stream were discussing this, Bingbing, who is the person most familiar with what had happened besides Suzette and Gao Luofei, was utterly incredulous and shocked. This. How could Suzette be the owner of Yaoli Glass Group? Does that mean Yaoli Glass Group is also their marital property? What was Suzette thinking? If he owns Yaoli Glass Group, why did he sign that document in the first place? I never expected this. I thought Suzette was getting a great deal, that my silly best friend was being cheated out of her money and her heart, but in the end, I'm the biggest clown. That's right, Bingbing was the second person to know about this document, even before Suzette. When the document was drafted and printed out to be signed by Suzette, Bingbing happened to be visiting Gao Luofei's house. She accidentally discovered the document. At that time, Bingbing was even more shocked than she is now when she saw it. In Bingbing's view, this document must have been created by Suzette using some means to force Gao Luofei to produce it. This document was entirely detrimental to Gao Luofei. It could be said that Suzette gained the most by signing it. At the time, Bingbing had earnestly tried to persuade Gao Luofei to calm down. However, Gao Luofei, blinded by love and having already given it much thought, wouldn't listen to Bingbing and resolutely took the document to Suzette for his signature. But now, those past worries seemed utterly ridiculous. While Bingbing was still worrying about Gao Luofei's potential loss of 1 or 200 million, the truth was that Gao Luofei was the biggest beneficiary of the document. 50 billion, who would have thought? Bingbing sighed deeply, looking at Suzette and Gao Luofei. Xiaolan, standing beside Bingbing, noticed her unusual behavior and realized that Bingbing probably knew the inside story, so she asked, "Bingbing, you know the inside story, right?" Hearing Xiaolan's question, Bingbing knew there was nothing wrong with talking about it. Even if she didn't say anything now, Gao Luofei, with her tendency to boast about her husband, would definitely reveal it later to make everyone envious. Therefore, Bingbing spoke up and, under everyone's gaze, explained the whole story. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Scammer, Give Me Back My Money. Actually, before Suzette and Gao Luofei got married, they had signed an agreement together. Bingbing slowly recounted what she knew. After hearing Bingbing's story, everyone's emotions went through a roller coaster ride. Like Bingbing, if Suzette wasn't hiding any money and was really just an ordinary toy designer, then Gao Luofei was undoubtedly at a disadvantage in this agreement with Suzette. However, everyone saw the final result. So that's the truth. No wonder the goddess wasn't so angry when she found Suzette's secret stash of money. While I envy the goddess, this document is just too shocking. To put it simply, the goddess is too love-struck. If she had met a jerk, she would have been at a huge disadvantage. Maybe this is what they mean by good deeds are rewarded. The goddess is so kind, and that's why she met such a good man like Suzette. So, Professor Su is truly an exceptional man. Knowing he's worth billions, he still signed this agreement with Gao Luofei without hesitation. Yeah, if I were Suzette, I probably wouldn't have chosen to sign this document. Professor Su and the goddess's love is so enviable. I wonder when I'll have a boyfriend like that. Don't even think about it. Professor Su is one of a kind. Just as the viewers in the live stream were enthusiastically discussing this matter, Bingbing, the host of the program, also spoke to the live stream. After discussions with Teacher Zhao and Teacher Sun, the market value of Yaoli Glass Group is tentatively set at 5 billion yuan. That means that, so far, the total amount of hidden money discovered in Suzette's stash is 5,100,512,232 yuan. Bingbing's voice trembled slightly as she spoke these numbers. 5.1 billion yuan. That's no small sum. For 99.99% of the people in this world, 5.1 billion yuan is more than they could earn in hundreds or thousands of lifetimes. And who would have thought that someone could hide so much money? It's simply outrageous. Only after Bing Bing explained did the viewers in the live stream realize the extent of Suze's discovered hidden money. It was truly outrageous. 5.1 billion? I'm speechless. That's too much? This isn't just a small stash, it's a huge treasure trove. 5.1 billion? If it were kept inside the house, it would be overflowing. So much money, such a large sum can only be seen when worshipping ancestors. However, this matter was simply too unbelievable. Who would have thought that Suzette was actually the behind-the-scenes boss of Yaoli Glass Group? Therefore, this matter quickly began to spread online. As the matter spread, some inappropriate comments soon appeared in the live stream of finding hidden money. Scammer. Refund. I knew a rich person wouldn't do something so charitable as a hidden activity. It turns out it was just for hiding his secret stash of money. I'm telling you, people like this are the most terrifying. They're so cunning. Refund. I bought it because of your so-called hidden activity, and now you're telling me it's all fake? Scammer. This wave of momentum came quickly and urgently, as if it were organized. Soon, the official live stream of finding hidden money was flooded with similar comments. The once warm and friendly chat room instantly became chaotic. When some die-hard supporters of Suzette and Gao Luofei saw the flood of comments, they immediately launched a fierce rebuttal. How is Suzette a fraud? Even though the event was fake, it was clearly stated beforehand that there was only one so-called prize, Suzette's. Even if you bought Yaoli Glass products, you wouldn't get a prize. You black haters have a bottom line, okay? You're just trying to extort money, so organized and disciplined. You must be hired trolls to smear Suzette. I believe in Professor Su's character. He's definitely not a fraud. Although there were many rebuttals in the live stream, they were still drowned out by the overwhelming force of the comments. After all, organized trolls are significantly less effective than spontaneous viewers. Suzette and Gao Luofei naturally witnessed everything that was happening in the live stream. Seeing this, the host, Bing Bing, quickly addressed the viewers, saying, "Dear viewers, please calm down. Is there some misunderstanding? The simplest solution would be to ban the users who sent these comments. However, banning them would negatively impact the program. Therefore, Bing Bing could only patiently explain." But no matter what Bing Bing said, the argument in the live stream showed no sign of cooling down. Now I finally have leverage over Yaoli Glass Group. At this moment, in a high-end office building, watching everything unfold in the live stream, a middle-aged man dressed in a suit and tie, clearly a successful businessman, was overjoyed. Indeed, what was happening in the live stream was all orchestrated by this man with an army of online trolls. His purpose was simple. Yaoli Glass was blocking his path to wealth. Chapter 90. Things start to escalate. Suze's solution. This man is none other than Ren Changsu, the founder and chairman of the board of directors of Huxu Group, formerly known as the Glass King in China. Previously, Huxu Group was at its zenith in the glass products industry, being the first listed glass products company, boasting a market capitalization of 5 billion yuan. At the time, Ren Changsu believed Huxu Group's advantages were so obvious that it was unrivaled, and no one could rival it. However, everything changed after Yaoli Glass Group emerged. Yaoli Glass Group's products not only outperformed in performance but also in cost-effectiveness, far surpassing established glass product companies, including Huxu Group. Therefore, influenced by superior product performance and effective marketing, in less than a year, Huxu Group went from being the industry leader to its current second-place position. Huxu Group's market capitalization has also plummeted, now standing at only around 2.1 billion yuan, less than half of its peak value. Although Ren Changsu is the chairman and founder of Huxu Group, due to the need for shareholding reform to comply with listing rules and multiple rounds of financing, his shareholding in Huxu Group was reduced to only 31.2%. During Huxu Group's heyday, despite his smaller shareholding, Ren Changsu firmly controlled the majority of the board of directors, and his position remained unaffected. However, this is no longer the case. After Huxu Group's collapse, Ren Changsu could clearly sense that those who had previously supported him on the board were no longer as supportive as before, as their own interests had been severely damaged. Although Ren Changsu's skillful maneuvering had somewhat stabilized the situation, he still felt a strong sense of crisis, knowing that the current stability was only temporary. Given enough time, if Huxu Group's current situation did not fundamentally improve, His removal from power was inevitable. However, although Ren Changsa possessed some information about Chaoli Glass Group, he had no way to utilize it. Ren Changsu discovered that Chaoli Glass Group was extremely secretive about its products, making it impossible to obtain any useful technical information. Furthermore, even if he did acquire the relevant technical data, Huxu Group was unwilling to invest heavily in marketing. Under these circumstances, Ren Changsu couldn't figure out how to handle the situation so that Huxu Group could defeat Chaoli Glass Group. However, just when Ren Changsu was racking his brains, Suze's incident occurred. Initially, when Ren Changsu heard about Chaoli Glass Group's hidden campaign, he cursed inwardly, wondering who had come up with it. It was truly brilliant. With only a few million yuan spent, they achieved an advertising effect that tens of millions might not even achieve. Yesterday, news about Chaoli Glass Group dominated the trending topics online for a while. This effect made Ren Changsu envious. However, things are unpredictable, and fortunes can change. Who could have imagined that things would change today? It turned out that Suze wasn't just an ordinary customer, but the behind-the-scenes boss of Chaoli Glass Group. In this way, any so-called hidden activities would naturally cease to exist. In a sense, if this matter isn't handled well, it could be considered a brand crisis. Therefore, upon learning of this, Ren Changsu immediately recognized it as a golden opportunity. Whether or not he could ruin the Chaoli Glass Group brand depended entirely on this. Ren Changsu immediately spent a large sum of money to purchase a large-scale, professionally organized and disciplined online army, sending them to the Finding Hidden Money live stream room. The goal was to influence other viewers' perceptions of the Chaoli Glass Group, thereby impacting its current market share. Liar, refund my money, what a garbage company. I'm calling to complain, this is deceiving us consumers, they must compensate us. Honey, although Gao Luofei knew that these online trolls could be banned simply by informing the program director, their influence wouldn't be erased. If handled so directly and crudely, it would negatively impact the reputation of both the Chaoli Glass Group and Suze. Gao Luofei looked at Suze with worry. However, compared to Gao Luofei, Suze appeared calm and composed in the face of this matter, showing no panic or hesitation, as if everything was within his expectations. Wife, I'm here, don't worry. Seeing Gao Luofei's worried expression, Suze patted her shoulder to comfort her. Influenced by Suze, Gao Luofei quickly calmed down, nestled in Suze's arms, and remained silent. Quickly, didn't you see the news online? Get moving. When Song Zhou learned of this news, he immediately arranged for someone to handle the matter. Soon, the official website of Chaoli Glass Group released a clarification video and announcement. As soon as the clarification video and announcement appeared, they were immediately forwarded by netizens who were concerned about this matter. What exactly is the inside story of Chaoli Glass Group's hidden activities? Are Suze and Chaoli Glass Group scammers? Let's find out. Chapter 91 The Lucky One is the Silly Girl. Little Sister Dai, watch the video. At this moment, in a live stream room on the Shark Live platform, the currently popular female streamer was being urged by her viewers to watch the video. Little Sister Dai was also a loyal viewer of the program Finding Hidden Money, so she was aware of what had happened in the past 2 days. After seeing what her viewers said, Little Sister Dai searched online and found the video released by Chaoli Glass Group, then clicked on it. The person in the video was none other than Wang Huan, who had been promoted. Wang Huan was dressed in a suit and tie, and compared to his obsequious and overly respectful demeanor when he met Suzette, Wang Huan looked much more energetic now, indeed somewhat resembling the domineering CEOs on television. Of course, in terms of presence, Wang Huan still lacked Suze's unique composure and calmness. However, when Little Sister Dai saw Wang Huan, she was immediately stunned, because she had met Wang Huan just last night. However, this was enough to sway Wang Huan's composure. As darkness fell in the video, Wang Huan, under the spotlight, addressed the camera. Welcome everyone to the announcement of the winner of Chaoli Glass Group's first hidden event. Who is the lucky star? I believe everyone knows what happened this afternoon. Actually, when Mr. Sun Li asked me, it was our boss, Song Zhou, who told me to say that. At the time, it was said that our behind-the-scenes boss's private stash of money had been discovered, and we were asked to help cover it up. That's why I lied and said Chaoli Glass Group was holding a hidden event. Who is the lucky star? I apologize to everyone here. However, hearing Wang Huan mention however, everyone understood that there was a twist in the story. After saying however, Wang Huan gave a wry smile and said helplessly to the camera, but just now I learned some news. Actually, our company really does have such an event, whoosh. The moment Wang Huan said this, everyone watching the video was incredulous. Are you kidding me? You, the vice president in charge of business planning for a group, don't know about such an event? Are you kidding me? Exactly. If even a vice president in charge of business planning doesn't know about such an event, how chaotic must this company be? Ha ha ha, this is the funniest joke I've heard all year. Looking at the comments on the video, Wang Huan, who was also watching his own video, gave a wry smile. Good heavens, he really knew nothing about this. Not only him, but even Song Zhou and Suza didn't know. Only the head of the marketing department knew about it. When the company's financial procedures were established, there were clear regulations that Wang Huan's involvement was only required for marketing expenses exceeding 1 million. The marketing expense for the hidden event, Who is the Lucky Star, was only 99,000, perfectly fitting that requirement. Therefore, Wang Huan was unaware of many marketing events, and this hidden event, Who is the Lucky Star, was one of them. The Who's the Lucky Star contest, while not as valuable as our boss's wooden carving, still offers a prize of 990,000. However, this 990,000 is converted into an equivalent value of handicrafts made of gold, diamonds, jade, and other precious materials, which were secretly placed inside the product during its production process without the customer's knowledge, just an hour ago. Our official customer service received a call from a customer who found a gold item inside the product. After verification, this customer was identified as the ultimate lucky winner of the Who's the Lucky Star contest. We are currently at this customer's home. Please join us in witnessing this lucky individual through our video. The video then switched to a residential building, but the building looks strangely familiar, as if everyone had encountered it somewhere before. This neighborhood looks so luxurious, it's almost on par with Suza's Jinlin neighborhood. This neighborhood looks so familiar, I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Yes, this neighborhood is very familiar. I feel the same way, right? I remember now. Isn't this the neighborhood where the beautiful streamer Daisai Omai from Shark Live lives? I remember she mentioned during her last stream that she lives in this neighborhood. As expected of a big streamer, even her place is extraordinary. While the viewers were sending comments, the video content was edited and moved directly to an unknown apartment building, clearly to protect the privacy of the person watching. Entering the elevator, when it reached the 10th floor, the elevator doors opened. Wang Huan straightened his clothes and stood before a very high-end, technologically advanced-looking door, gently knocking. Coming, the knock ended, the door opened, and to everyone's surprise, a person appeared in the video. Daisai Omai, it's actually Daisai Omai. No way, could the lucky winner be Daisai Omai? Holy crap, what a joke. It's actually Daisai Omai. After all, she was a stunningly beautiful live streamer. In the video, while Daisai Omai wasn't as flawless and captivating as Gao Luofei, she was still very youthful and radiant. You're from Yaoli Glass Group, right? Although they hadn't told Daisai Omai beforehand that she had won the prize, they had informed her that a video would be recorded, so Daisai Omai didn't care about the video. Anyway, if there were any inappropriate parts in the video, she could ask them to be edited out. Yes, Ms. Dai, I'm Wang Huan, the person in charge of Yaoli Glass. I heard from you that our products have quality issues, so I've come to resolve this, Wang Huan said very politely. Hearing what Wang Huan said, Daisai Omai casually let Wang Huan and the others into the room. Chapter 92, Perfectly Resolved, Ren Changsu's plan fails. Dai, you're not the lucky one, are you? Holy crap, Dai, you're afraid to share something this big with us? Don't you consider us family anymore? Stop talking, everyone unfollowing, . Looking at the comments in her live stream, Dai really felt wronged. Yesterday, Wang Huan and the others did come, but they only checked the glass curtain wall she bought and told her how to get the items out. They didn't say she was any lucky one. Everyone, stop messing around. I really didn't lie to you. Wang Huan and the others came yesterday, but they only checked the product. They didn't say I was any lucky star. However, no matter how Dai explained, people's perceptions weren't easily changed. Nevertheless, seeing that some viewers still believed her, Dai felt very comforted. Dai snorted twice and said arrogantly, HMPH, keep watching. If you misunderstand me later, you'll have to apologize. Seeing Dai's smug look, the viewers in the live stream started to have doubts. Could it be that they had really wronged Dai? Oh no, I have to put it away right away. As for Dazai Omai, after saying this, she instantly realized that the gold worth 990,000 yuan, after Wang Huan and the others took it out yesterday, looked quite nice with its glittering gold and sparkle, so she didn't think much of it and simply placed it as decoration next to the TV in the living room. But now, when Dazai Omai realized that the item might be worth 990,000 yuan, she immediately got up and carefully preserved the little tiger stool. That was no joke. 990,000 yuan. Even with a monthly income of 1 million, Dazai Omai still felt a pang of regret. After all, it represented a period of incredible luck for her. Just after Dazai Omai finished tidying up, Wang Huan, who is in the video, also came out of Dazai Omai's house, grinning mischievously at the camera. As you all saw, that little tiger is the prize from Who's the Lucky Star, with a certificate from a national authority, valued at 990,000. However, we won't tell this lucky customer today. Tomorrow morning, we'll release the video, and the relevant certificates and documents will be mailed to this beautiful customer, giving her a huge surprise. With that, the video ended. After Wang Huan finished speaking, both the viewers in Dazai Omai's live stream and the viewers of the Finding Hidden Money program felt a surge of envy and jealousy. The viewers in Dazai Omai's live stream now realized they had misunderstood her. She genuinely didn't know beforehand. Immediately afterward, Dazai Omai's live stream exploded with excitement. Old woman, hurry up and bring out the 990,000 yuan little tiger, we want to see it. Dede, hurry up and bring it over, damn it, old woman, you shill. Seeing these explosive comments in the live stream, Dazai Omai didn't bring out the 990,000 yuan little tiger as the audience expected. Instead, she puffed up her cheeks and said angrily to the live stream, "That's not what you said just now. I told you I didn't know, and you still said I was lying to you. HMPH, I'm angry." After saying that, Dazai Omai crossed her arms, turned her head to the side, and looked like she was ignoring everyone. However, the glances Dazai Omai occasionally gave to the live stream clearly showed what she was really thinking. Seeing this, the many viewers in Dazai Omai's live stream who had watched her live stream for so many years understood what Dazai Omai meant. Old woman. I was wrong. Sending Dazai Omai a super rocket, 2000 RMB. Old woman, I was wrong, I'm sorry, I apologize. Sending Dazai Omai a rocket, 500 RMB. Old woman, you're beautiful and have a sweet voice, please forgive us. Countless gifts and comments flooded Dazai Omai's live stream, instantly making it lively. Meanwhile, thanks to Dazai Omai's fans' promotion, some viewers of the Finding Hidden Money program learned that the lucky winner of Who's the Lucky Star was a well-known streamer. Immediately, upon learning that Dazai Omai was live, a large influx of viewers flooded into her stream. The number of viewers in Dazai Omai's live stream skyrocketed from 21,000 to 987,000, and then visibly surpassed 1 million. Hurry, streamer. Let us see the reward, old woman, so many viewers are here, we need to seize this opportunity. Dazai Omai knew what was important. Seeing the unprecedentedly large number of viewers in the live stream, she didn't say anything more and went to get the little tiger stool. Soon, Dazai Omai brought the little tiger stool over, and when the many viewers saw the little tiger stool worth 990,000, they immediately started posting comments. Wow, is this the 990,000 yuan little tiger drum? It's so beautiful. Ugh, why isn't it me? Now I wonder who still says Souza is a liar. Dazai Omai is a well-known streamer, it's unlikely she's colluding with Souza to scam everyone. I was in the old woman's live stream just now. When she heard that this little tiger drum was so valuable, she looked completely incredulous. If it's acting, then the old woman could win an Oscar. The video can't be faked, right? There's video evidence here. By the way, you guys should check the information released by the relevant departments. Yaoli Glass Group had this event notarized by a notary office a month ago. Meanwhile, Ren Changsu of Huxu Group naturally witnessed the development of the situation. Originally, Ren Changsu was quite pleased with himself. In his view, his plan to discredit Yaoli Glass Group had achieved its intended effect. But now, all of that had vanished. Chapter 93: The Mysterious Disappearance of the Maserati. After all, the video clearly stated that it was registered with a national authority, and the activity had indeed been going on for a long time. Moreover, with the well-known streamer Dazai Omai as a witness, the allegations that Souza and Yaoli Glass Group were deceiving customers were unfounded. Sure enough, as Ren Changsu had predicted, seeing the atmosphere and the live stream reverse, the online trolls he had hired continued to manipulate the narrative as he had originally instructed. How could the video not be fake? You say what you mean? I suspect this Daizai is a plant you hired? Exactly, what a coincidence, I don't believe it. However, although they were very organized, this time the viewers in the live stream wouldn't fall for their act. Didn't you see? This event was registered a month ago. These accounts, I remember they were the ones stirring up trouble just now. Are they paid trolls? I think these accounts are all newly registered level 1 accounts today. These are probably all paid troll accounts. Ban them. Which scoundrel can't stand seeing others succeed? All they know is to use paid trolls. Don't they know it's illegal? Just as the viewers in the live stream were getting worked up and denouncing the paid trolls were about to retaliate when they discovered that all their accounts had been banned. Brother Liang, what do we do? Should we continue? At this moment, in the paid trolls studio, the trolls operating numerous accounts all turned to look at their studio leader, Brother Liang. For these paid trolls, having their accounts banned was a very common occurrence, and they showed no particular emotion. As the saying goes, money talks. Since Brother Liang hadn't received any word from Ren Changsu about stopping the online army, he said to his brothers, continue. However, no sooner had Brother Liang finished speaking than everyone in the studio heard a loud bang. The door was flung open, and a group of heavily armed men rushed into the studio before anyone could react. Don't move, squat down. Hands up. Seeing that they were armed public officials, the men who had initially wanted to run away immediately squatted down and were then handcuffed. As for Zhao Liang, being arrested for organizing an online army wasn't a one-off occurrence, he was already quite used to it. With a little connections, he could at most be detained for 10 days or half a month and pay some fines. Zhao Liang had long since lost any respect for such punishment. While squatting on the ground, Zhao Liang stretched out his hands towards the approaching police, smiling without a trace of fear, and said, Officer, I am Zhao Liang, the person in charge of the studio. After saying this, Zhao Liang cooperated with the police in handcuffing him. Relax a little, or you'll feel uncomfortable, Zhao Liang, right? You're being arrested for guiding public opinion, involving the crimes of provoking trouble, suspected insult, and suspected defamation of the image of national heroes. After saying this, the police escorted Zhao Liang and the others away. Upon hearing his charges, Zhao Liang immediately sensed something was wrong and quickly said, Wait a minute, officers, are you mistaken? I only committed the crimes of provoking trouble and suspected insult. When did I defame the image of national heroes? Zhao Liang had heard of the crime of defaming the image of national heroes. If you were to be charged with this, it wouldn't be easy to resolve. He might very well have to work for the government for several years. However, no matter what Zhao Liang said, no one paid any attention. Besides Zhao Liang, Ren Changsu, the person who provided the funds behind the scenes, naturally wouldn't be let off the hook either. Almost at the same time as Zhao Liang, Ren Changsu was also taken away from his luxurious villa. Shortly after Ren Changsu was taken away, Song Zhou also appeared at the Huxu Group's office building. Following the board meeting, news soon spread that Huxu Group, the second largest glass company in the country, had been officially acquired by Yaoli Glass Group at a very low price. With the matter resolved, Suze and Gao Luofei didn't linger. They went to the garage next to the house and drove towards their destination. Suze pressed the garage door button, and under the watchful eyes of the viewers in the live stream, the garage door opened. The garage was large, with portraits and decorative items like wood carvings and silk hanging on the white walls. 2 cars were parked in the 3 designated parking spaces. The one on the right was the Volkswagen Passat that the viewers in the live stream had already seen, the car Suze drove to work. The one on the left was a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. Where's my Maserati Quattroporte? Gao Luofei exclaimed in surprise after seeing the situation in the garage. The empty space in the middle of the garage had previously held Gao Luofei's favorite blood red, specially customized Maserati Quattroporte. Although this Maserati Quattroporte was quite old, and even suffered severe damage during transport, falling off a cliff and nearly totaling the car, Gao Luofei cherished it immensely. It was her childhood favorite, the first sports car she bought with her first earnings after becoming famous. Even though the repair costs exceeded its original value, she was willing to pay for it. However, the damage was so severe that not a single part of the car, inside or out, was intact. Even Maserati could only advise her to replace it, they couldn't repair it. Therefore, Gao Luofei placed a Maserati Quattroporte in the center of her garage. She hadn't been out for a while and hadn't opened the garage. Today, when she opened it, she discovered that the parked Maserati Quattroporte was gone. Chapter 94 Suze's Gift, a brand new Maserati. Seeing Gao Luofei's anxious expression, Suze gently patted her shoulder and comforted her, saying, "Don't worry, honey, I took your Maserati Quattroporte." The Maserati Quattroporte was so badly damaged that even the Maserati company couldn't repair it, but for Suzette, it was a piece of cake. Suze knew the special significance of this Maserati Quattroporte, so he chose to repair it as one of their one-year anniversary gifts. To surprise Gao Luofei, Suze didn't inform her beforehand. Therefore, without her knowledge, Suze arranged for a special person to transport the severely damaged Maserati Quattroporte by truck through a secret channel to his research lab where he had been the previous day for research and repair. The Maserati Quattroporte had already been repaired the night before last, and last night Suze secretly incorporated a real-time brainwave manipulation technology he had learned the previous day. Now, besides the autonomous driving technology, the NK1 metal body shell, and the high-strength supercharged engine, all the cutting-edge technologies Suze possessed, this Maserati Quattroporte also gained the ability to be controlled at will. In short, the Maserati Quattroporte repaired by Suzette, while outwardly identical to its predecessor, was completely unrelated. "Wife, come with me." With that, Suzette took Gao Luofei's smooth, jade-like hand and led her towards a red container truck not far away. As for Bingbing, Sun Li, Xiaolan, and the viewers in the live stream, they wisely refrained from approaching the couple, quietly filming their backs and following them with curiosity towards the container truck. Led by Suzette, the two arrived at the container truck. Afterwards, the container truck driver, upon seeing Suzette, got out of the driver's seat and walked respectfully to Suzette and Gao Luofei, saying, "Mr. Su, Ms. Gao, hello." Suzette nodded in response. The driver then went to the container door, pressed a button, and the side door opened, revealing the fiery red Maserati Quattroporte to Gao Luofei. Suzette took the Maserati Quattroporte's car key from his pocket, pressed the switch, and the headlights flashed, the powerful engine roaring from underneath. Under everyone's watchful eyes, the Maserati Quattroporte began to move without a driver, driving down the ramp set up by the truck. The entire process was smooth and seamless, without any pauses or hesitation. Autonomous driving. Seeing this, everyone immediately thought of the hot technology of autonomous driving. However, the viewers in the live stream were only slightly surprised for a moment and didn't pay much attention. 10 years ago, autonomous driving technology would have been groundbreaking. But today, major internet and technology companies have invested considerable resources in its research. While their autonomous driving technologies vary in quality, many have achieved a level of performance that is generally acceptable. However, compared to the viewers in the live stream, Marui, watching the Maserati Quattroporte, had a flicker in her eyes. Yesterday, Marui had clearly seen the source code of Suze's automatic cleaning robot, which included information related to autonomous driving. Obstacle recognition, motor response, 350 kilometers. Thinking back to the information in the code yesterday, Marui felt a sense of unease. Could it be that the Maserati Quattroporte's autonomous driving technology is the same system as the automatic cleaning robot? If it weren't for what happened this morning, Marui would have thought, like yesterday, that the 350-kilometer limit was an error in Suze's editing. But after learning that Suze had actually developed such a miraculous machine as Candle Dragon, Marui's doubts dissipated. After all, a top-tier scientific research master couldn't possibly make a mistake in this area. This meant that Suze's autonomous driving technology could indeed maintain its autonomous driving capabilities at 350 kilometers per hour. Although she had some doubts, they were just that, doubts. To verify her suspicions, she could only confirm them by observing the Maserati Quattroporte's performance. "Honey, did you repair this?" Gao Luofei asked, stroking the cold car body as she looked at the Maserati Quattroporte parked beside her. "Yes, do you like it?" Suze nodded in response. "I love it." Although Gao Luofei knew very well that most of this Maserati Quattroporte wasn't original, the fact that Suze had personally repaired it made it all the more special. Therefore, Gao Luofei happily nodded after hearing what Suze said. Gao Luofei, having acquired the Maserati Quattroporte, opened the driver's side door and got in. Suze sat in the passenger seat. After they were both seated and fastened their seatbelts, Gao Luofei stepped on the gas, and the Maserati Quattroporte drove off. Seeing this, Bing Bing and the others didn't linger, getting into the car provided by the production crew and following closely behind the Maserati Quattroporte, continuing their live broadcast. "Honey, where are we going?" "To the central shopping mall." "Boss, the target has started moving. Should we continue tracking?" At the same time, as Suze and Gao Luofei moved, the American spy who had been monitoring them immediately reported this intelligence to Black Hand: "Be careful, and don't expose your whereabouts." Chapter 95. The Candle Dragon displays its power, difficult to distinguish between truth and falsehood. Since the live stream was still ongoing, Suze and Gao Luofei were unlikely to lose track of them. Rather than closely following them, it was better to maintain a greater distance to avoid being discovered by those hiding in the shadows. As for Black Hand himself, after Suze and Gao Luofei set off, he drove a pre-prepared sedan towards their destination. During the drive, Black Hand began to methodically arrange the operation. "Wow, a Maserati Quattroporte, so cool." When Gao Luofei drove the Maserati Quattroporte out of Jinland residential area, the loud noise from the engine instantly attracted the attention of passers-by. Although luxury cars were commonplace in Jinland residential area, the appearance of a sports car still caused a stir. Just as the Maserati Quattroporte brushed past a BMW 3 Series, a Baojun sedan inadvertently appeared beside it. "Huh? When did this Baojun appear?" The driver of the BMW 3 Series rubbed his eyes, looking at the Baojun sedan that had suddenly appeared in front of his car. He clearly remembered that there shouldn't have been any other cars in front of him. How come a Baojun appeared in the short time he was rubbing his eyes? Could I have made a mistake? Although he was very puzzled, the Baojun had indeed appeared in front of him, so he just assumed he had misremembered. In reality, this Baojun was not a real car, but a phantom created by Suze using the candle dragon on the body of the Maserati Quattroporte. To outsiders, the Baojun was currently driving in the left lane of the Maserati Quattroporte. But in reality, the Maserati Quattroporte's position was completely opposite to what everyone saw. In other words, the lane where everyone saw the Baojun was the Maserati Quattroporte, while the lane of the Maserati Quattroporte was the phantom Baojun. Suze did this for a simple reason: to protect his and Gao Luofei's safety. If those foreign spies were planning to attack them, this would serve as a warning and preventative measure. Shortly after, the program crew's car carrying Bing Bing and the others emerged from Jinland residential area, following closely behind what they perceived as the Maserati Quattroporte. "Honey, this car is so comfortable to drive." Gao Luofei, driving the Maserati Quattroporte, clearly felt the difference. Although the interior looked similar to the exterior, the ride was significantly more comfortable than before. Pressing the accelerator, the power transmitted from the Maserati Quattroporte's engine was noticeably more powerful and forceful than before. Gao Luofei felt that if she floored the accelerator, the Maserati Quattroporte could probably fly. However, despite the high speed, Gao Luofei felt that the Maserati Quattroporte repaired by Suzette was much easier to control than before. It was as if she could handle the car with ease no matter how fast it went. This was due to the assistance functions attached to Suze's automatic driving system. In other words, even if Gao Luofei accidentally pressed the wrong pedal while driving, nothing would happen to the Maserati Quattroporte. "Honey, is the car registered? Can it be driven on the road now?" Before this, Gao Luofei thought Suze had only performed simple maintenance. But after actually driving the Maserati Quattroporte repaired by Suzette, Gao Luofei asked Suzette, who was sitting in the passenger seat. After all, if a vehicle undergoes major modifications, it needs to be registered with the relevant departments and approved. Without these procedures, it might be fine if no one knows, but if someone with ulterior motives reports it, it could have negative consequences. Hearing Gao Luofei's words, Suze said, "Wife, don't worry, I've already reported it. Just drive with peace of mind." Reporting is a piece of cake for Suzette. Let alone his other identities, even his roles as a security advisor and a military technical advisor easily resolved this small problem. Hearing Suze's words, Gao Luofei nodded and continued to enjoy the unique feeling the Maserati Quattroporte gave her. They drove at a high speed, only the traffic was a bit heavy. If there were fewer cars on the road, Gao Luofei's speed wouldn't be like this. She was driving like a tortoise, unable to unleash the sports car's performance. And so, under normal driving conditions, The flashing signs of this Hongdu city center shopping mall soon came into Gao Luofei and Suze's view. This Hongdu City Center shopping mall is one of the major shopping malls in Hongdu City. It contains various types of goods, including clothing, jewelry, and machinery, and features direct sales stores of well-known domestic and international luxury brands, including cinemas, KTVs, and luxury restaurants. It's a shopping center targeting the high-end market, integrating leisure, entertainment, and shopping. It's safe to say that a stroll through the mall and a few purchases would easily cost over 1,000 yuan. Because of this, the men and women who frequent the mall, regardless of their actual circumstances, are all impeccably dressed and exude class. However, at the same time, a change is unfolding. Charlotte, Jennifer, prepare to move out, the Black Hand, sitting in the car, after understanding the current situation and seeing that Charlotte and Jennifer's vehicle had arrived at the prearranged location, flanking Suze and Gao Luofei's Maserati Quattroporte, gave the order to proceed. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 America Makes a Move, Suze in Danger. Although the Black Hand hadn't thoroughly observed the area around Gao Luofei and Suze's Maserati Quattroporte along the way, he knew Guo and was well prepared. Therefore, the Black Hand was waiting for the right opportunity. Waiting for a chance to kidnap Gao Luofei and Suze in one fell swoop. Number 4, this is number 3, those two cars next to the Maserati Quattroporte, the Volkswagen and the Wuling, have they been following us since we left Jinland residential area? Knowing the Black Hand was coming today, and that Suze and Gao Luofei were going out to celebrate their wedding anniversary, Guo knew that while Suze had said he would protect Gao Luofei, he wouldn't simply do nothing as Suze had suggested. So, starting last night, Guo had arranged 4 cars, each with 2 agents, to surround the Maserati Quattroporte. They were closely monitoring the surroundings, and at the slightest sign of trouble, they would discreetly stop the target vehicle and verify its identity. At that moment, in a vehicle belonging to the security department, the security personnel sitting in the passenger seat, responsible for observing the surroundings, cautiously inquired about the vehicles in the distance. Yes, this is the car that has been following us since it came out of Jinland residential area. Upon receiving the teammate's reply, the security personnel numbered 3 immediately said, keep a close eye on the movements of these 2 vehicles, remain vigilant, and apprehend them immediately if there is any unusual activity. Yes. Hearing the order from 3, the other security personnel immediately replied on the walkie-talkie. As one of the most bustling commercial streets in Hongdu City, the traffic flow at this intersection was very heavy, and with it being Saturday, the traffic was even heavier. The traffic was heavy and constant. It took Suze and Gao Luofei nearly 3 minutes to slowly walk a mere 100 meters. Under such circumstances, it would have been better to walk or ride a shared bicycle than to drive the Maserati Quattroporte. Just as the security personnel numbered 3 finished giving the order, the red light at the intersection turned on, and the Maserati Quattroporte, like the other cars, came to a stop. After the 120-second red light, the cars at the intersection had just started moving when an accident occurred. The first car to move collided with a sedan that had just reached the intersection, and the collision happened in the lane where the Maserati Quattroporte was located. Now, the Maserati Quattroporte was completely blocked, unable to move an inch. There was an accident directly in front, preventing it from moving. To its left was Xiaoluo's car, to its right was a Baojin, and behind the Maserati Quattroporte were the vehicles prepared by Bingbing's production team. The Maserati Quattroporte was essentially surrounded on all sides. Boss, the Maserati Quattroporte can't move. Should we begin the operation? Just as Xiaoluo reported the situation to Black Hand had already grasped the situation. Although the timing wasn't ideal, acting now would allow them to escape smoothly after kidnapping Gao Luofei and Suzette. Therefore, Black Hand ordered Charlotte, start the operation. Receiving Black Hand's reply, Charlotte and Jennifer exchanged a glance and retrieved their concealed pistols from under the car seats. Beep beep beep, can't you see the green light? Hurry up and move. Seeing the green light at the intersection, and with no other vehicles in front of Charlotte and Jennifer's car, they still showed no sign of moving. The driver of the car behind them began honking frantically, cursing as they did so. Are you deaf? "Can't you move?" Hearing the honking and cursing from behind, Charlotte and Jennifer, armed and ready to act, opened the car door. Before the driver could react, Charlotte pulled out her pistol and fired a shot directly at the car window. The pistol Charlotte used was a specially made American ASP pistol, specifically issued to spies. The ASP pistol was not only powerful but also compact due to special modifications, making it easy to carry. Although it was equipped with a silencer, the sound of the ASP pistol still rang out in a small area. With a bang, the bullet pierced the windshield of the car behind and struck the driver next to the head. Feeling the intense pain from the high-speed bullet passing by his ear, the driver, who had been shouting earlier, froze on the spot. His eyes widened in shock and fear. His mouth gaped open, his throat trembled, but he couldn't utter a sound. Gone was his earlier arrogance. His left hand trembled as he grabbed the car handle and stumbled and ran frantically towards the back of the car. It's understandable, in such a peaceful and tranquil environment in China, who would imagine someone carrying a handgun and daring to fire it in broad daylight? That's the sound of an ASP pistol. Something's wrong, danger. The security personnel were naturally most sensitive to gunfire. Upon hearing the shot, they immediately realized that American spies had begun their operation. They jumped out of the car and ran towards where Suzette and Gao Luofei were. "Run! Run! Someone fired! Run, Mommy, help me!" The gunshot alerted not only the driver but everyone else as well. The passengers scattered like birds, running in all directions. Seeing this, Jennifer said to Charlotte, "It's all you're doing. Hurry up and act, don't let the target escape." With such a huge reaction, the security personnel would definitely act immediately. Time was of the essence in this situation, and Jennifer couldn't afford any mistakes. She jogged to the Maserati Quattroport. Chapter 97. The US is terrified and has used weapons. This is terrible. Someone actually fired a gun. Holy crap, this is too dangerous. They're probably after Suzette and Gao Luofei. I knew Suzette and Gao Luofei shouldn't have come out. Now look what happened. They're in danger. Bing bing, you have to be careful too. Handguns don't discriminate. Which country did this? Call the police. This guy's got a whopping $500,000. I've already called the police. Don't try to take it from me. Just as Xiao Luo fired his gun, the live stream camera captured Xiao Luo and Jennifer's actions. When the viewers saw Xiao Luo unexpectedly pull a handgun from his waist, they immediately went wild. While many viewers were worried about Suzette and the others' safety, many who were familiar with firearms from different countries quickly came to a conclusion. An ASP pistol, if I'm not mistaken, this really is an ASP pistol. This is a professional pistol specifically issued to American agents on missions. It's not only excellent for concealment, but also boasts superior power, rate of fire, and range. So, this group was sent by the US? Damn it, that trash country just can't stand seeing other countries succeed. Professor Su is a national treasure. All the Mecha technology and other advancements were thanks to him. We can't let the US's conspiracy succeed. This is our homeland. We can't tolerate these American scum running rampant. When the viewers in the live stream learned that it was the US that was behind it, they were immediately outraged. For years, every time the country made a breakthrough, it was always the US that sabotaged it. Therefore, any Chinese person with a normal moral compass didn't have a good impression of the US. However, despite their opinions, the viewers in the live stream weren't there. Even if they wanted to take action against Charlotte and Jennifer, they were powerless to do so. Professor Su's mission is so important, he should have someone protecting him. Right, hurry up. The American spy is already next to the Maserati Quattroport that Professor Su and Gao Luofei are riding in. Oh no, I can't look. Quick, quick, everyone catch up. It's my fault. I didn't notice anything strange sooner. Although the security personnel weren't far from the Maserati Quattroport, they were still quite far from Charlotte and Jennifer. Bang, 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 bang. As the security personnel were weaving through traffic, Charlotte and Jennifer saw them running towards them. As excellent partners, they only needed a glance to begin their division of labor. Charlotte continued to kidnap Gao Luofei and Suzette, while Jennifer provided cover. Raising her arm, she pressed the trigger of her pistol, and without even aiming, fired 5 shots at the approaching security personnel. Although the security personnel were brave, they weren't made of steel. Faced with Jennifer's bullets, they could only use parked cars as cover, ensuring their safety while returning fire. A fierce gunfight erupted in the area. The roads, which hadn't been congested before, became crowded as some drivers, fearing being hit, abandoned their vehicles and fled. Seeing this, one person led the way, and other drivers abandoned their cars and ran, creating a chaotic scene as people with terrified expressions ran to the sidelines, trying to get away from the danger. Although the security personnel had a numerical advantage, they were concerned about pedestrians being accidentally injured and couldn't act recklessly. Everyone, get down. Bing Bing had learned some military knowledge during a previous TV program and knew that in this situation, besides running, the best thing to do was crouch down and take cover. Hearing Bing Bing's words, Xiaolan and Sun Li did as she said. Fifei, Suze, I hope you're alright. In this situation, Bing Bing was powerless and could only pray for Suze and Gao Luofei's safety. Husband, I'm scared. Gao Luofei was well aware of what was happening outside. Although she had witnessed the cruelty of the battlefield because of Gao Yuanshan, this was the first time she had been this close. With Suze beside her, Gao Luofei hugged him tightly for security. It's alright, Fifei, the candle dragon was currently operating. Suze knew very well that if the target was him, it would definitely go to the fabricated Maserati Quattroporte nearby. This was enough time for Suze to subdue the two of them. Most importantly, unless Suze and Gao Luofei opened it themselves, the Maserati Quattroporte, given its current condition, wouldn't necessarily be damaged even by a mortar shell. What effect could Xiaoluo and Jennifer's two small pistols have on the Maserati Quattroporte? While Suze was comforting Gao Luofei, Xiaoluo pointed his ASP pistol at the glass door, his expression fierce, and threatened, "You two open the door, or I'll shoot you." However, Xiaoluo noticed that even though he was pointing a gun at them, threatening their lives, Suze and Gao Luofei showed no fear, as if they didn't care much about him. Since undergoing 6 years of rigorous training and carrying out 8 missions, Xiaoluo had always known that every target who saw him with an ASP pistol displayed fear in their eyes. They all acted subserviently, afraid that a single displeasure from him would result in their immediate death. Now, seeing Suze and Gao Luofei completely ignoring his words in this situation, Xiaoluo felt his dignity threatened. He picked up his pistol and fired a shot at the car door. Chapter 98 is all fake, I've been tricked. With a ferocious, cold-blooded expression, Charlotte was determined to teach Suze and Gao Luofei a lesson. Although the mastermind had instructed him to capture both of them alive, or at least one of them, he hadn't said they couldn't be harmed. As long as they weren't killed, it was fine, right? Therefore, in full view of everyone, Charlotte fired. Bang! A twisted smile appeared on Charlotte's face as he pulled the trigger. He expected to hear Gao Luofei and Suze's terrified screams, and the sight of bullets piercing their bodies and blood splattering everywhere. However, reality was completely different from his expectations. After the bullet was fired, Charlotte didn't hear the sound of a bullet striking metal, nor the sound of a bullet hitting flesh. Instead, he heard the sound of a bullet hitting the ground. Looking at Suze and Gao Luofei, who, despite the bullet wound, sat inside the Maserati Quattroporte with completely unchanged expressions, seemingly oblivious to everything, and at the bullet that had vanished, a very strange expression appeared on Charlotte's ferocious face. Wait a minute, this isn't what I expected. Could it be that the bullets didn't penetrate? No way, it's so close, and this is a specially made ASP pistol. How could it not even penetrate a sports car? With doubt in his heart, Charlotte expressionlessly pulled the trigger of the pistol again. Bang 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 bang. When the ASP pistol's magazine was empty, only a row of bullet holes appeared on the Maserati Quattroporte's door. Aside from the bullet holes, Suze and Gao Luofei were not only unharmed, but also showed no signs of panic or fear, instead looking at him with a mocking expression. This instantly enraged Charlotte. Since firing the gun was ineffective, Charlotte reached out to pound on the Maserati Quattroporte's door, hoping to open it and pull the two out. That guy fired nearly 10 shots at the Maserati Quattroporte that Professor Su and Gao Luofei were riding in. Will they be alright? Weren't they supposed to be here to capture Professor Su and Gao Luofei alive? Why so many shots? Are they going to kill them both? Hurry and come to their rescue. Come save Professor Su and Goddess Gao. The many viewers in the live stream watched the perilous scene unfold before them. Although they were separated by the camera, they deeply felt the tension and were extremely worried about the safety of Suze and Gao Luofei. Besides the viewers in the live stream, the most anxious were Gao Yuanshan and director Wang, who had been watching the live stream the entire time. The moment the gunshots rang out, their expressions changed drastically, their faces becoming very serious. Guowen, how did you arrange the defense? How could you make such a huge mistake? Director Wang was extremely agitated. After picking up his phone and connecting with Guo, he unleashed a torrent of abuse on the other end of the line. What the hell did you do? How could you make such a huge blunder? The safety of Professor Su and his wife is of paramount importance. If anything goes wrong, you're fired. Contact the relevant personnel immediately and do everything in your power to ensure their safety. Director Wang scolded as he methodically began to assign tasks. As for Gao Yuanshan, a general with a star in his rank, his daughter and son-in-law were in such a critical situation, being treated this way by American spies. And most importantly, Su's heir was a military technology advisor, a security advisor, and an honorary professor at Imperial University. Whether for personal or professional reasons, Su's heir and Gao Luofei could not afford any mishaps. Gao Yuanshan picked up his phone, dialed a number, and said in a very serious tone, "Numerous spy sabotage incidents have occurred on the main street of Zhongdu City. Immediately dispatch this Hongdu branch of the Wolfang Special Forces." At this moment, Gao Yuanshan was no longer the proud father, his iron-blooded aura shone through, and he was a general about to fight the enemy. Quickly, line up, board the helicopter. After Gao Yuanshan gave the order, a 12-man special operations team boarded an armed helicopter and headed towards the central street. However, a distant solution couldn't quench an immediate thirst. When Gao Yuanshan and Director Wang saw Xiao Luo firing an ASP pistol at the Maserati Quatroport, their expressions became even more grave. As professionals, Gao Yuanshan and Director Wang naturally understood the performance of the ASP pistol. Although they didn't understand why he was firing so wildly when all that was needed was to capture the two men alive, when they saw Xiao Luo reach for the Maserati Quattroport's door, they could only pray for their safety. Damn it, after today, the entire Hongdu city must be thoroughly investigated. All suspicious individuals must be thoroughly investigated, they must be ensured they never leave. At this moment, Gao Yuanshan and Director Wang were completely enraged. However, when Gao Yuanshan and Director Wang, their anger surging like furious lions, saw what happened next in the live broadcast, a moment of surprise appeared on their angry faces. Then, the two of them showed strange expressions. When Charlotte tried to grab the handle of the Maserati Quattroport, she was surprised to find that her arm passed right through the car door without any obstruction. How could this be? This is reality, not a game. How could it clip through? Suddenly, Charlotte remembered what she had seen in the live stream and felt that something was wrong, a very bad premonition rising in her heart. Oh no, we've been tricked. Just as Jennifer was wondering why Charlotte said that, she turned her head and saw Charlotte step out and disappear from her sight. Now, Jennifer understood what had happened. Damn it, this Maserati Quattroport was actually a projection of Suzette. Jennifer felt like she had been played by Suzette, and she could almost feel Suzette and Gao Luofei laughing at them from somewhere. Chapter 99. The National Security Bureau is here, retreat quickly. Jennifer's intuition was correct. Although Gao Luofei, seated in the Maserati Quattroport, was still holding Suzette's arm, her bright eyes were fixed on the car window, a hint of lingering fear in her gaze. Just moments before, Xiao Luo's bullets had struck the car window directly. If she hadn't seen it clearly, Gao Luofei, seeing the window now completely undamaged, without a single mark, would never have guessed it had just been shot at. Suzette noticed Gao Luofei's confusion and explained, "Honey, your Maserati Quattroport has been modified with bulletproof capabilities. It can withstand bullets, and even mortar fire a few times without any problem." Hearing Suzette's explanation, Gao Luofei felt relieved. Since Suzette had said so, Gao Luofei no longer needed to worry. As long as the two of them didn't get out of the car, those people outside couldn't do anything to them. However, while Gao Luofei had found the answer to this question, she still looked curiously at Xiao Luo, who was playing with a fake Maserati Quattroport. Logically, the bullet Xiao Luo fired should have hit the Maserati Quattroport next to them, right? Even if the Maserati Quattroport wasn't bulletproof, it shouldn't have been completely unaffected, just going straight through. Curious, Gao Luofei looked at Suzette beside her and asked, "Honey, that Maserati Quattroport is a bit strange. How did the bullet go right through it?" Hearing Gao Luofei's question, Suzette replied, "That Maserati Quattroport was something I specially created using the Candle Dragon. As for the Maserati Quattroport we're riding in now, I've disguised it as an inconspicuous Baojan." Previously, Gao Luofei had been very curious about how there could be a Maserati Quattroport that looked exactly like her. Hearing Souza's explanation, Gao Luofei was both surprised and astonished. Didn't they say before that the Candle Dragon's device was too large and couldn't be used at any time? Gao Luofei asked Suzette, voicing her doubts. Hearing Gao Luofei's question, Suzette chuckled and said, "Think about when I ever said such a thing." Hearing Suzette's words, Gao Luofei thought carefully and realized he was right. It seemed Suzette had never said anything like that before, it was just their own perception. "Honey, you're such a genius." Gao Luofei's eyes sparkled as she looked at Suzette with adoration. Everyone thought it impossible for Suzette to shrink the Candle Dragon into a portable device, but he had done it. However, Gao Luofei immediately said worriedly, "Honey, those two spies will definitely notice something's wrong. We're fine in the car, but Bing Bing and the others are still in it. If those two spies get angry, their safety might be compromised." Seeing Gao Luofei's slightly furrowed brows, Suzette gently stroked her fair forehead, smoothing her furrowed brows, and said, "Wife, don't worry, I'm here." Hearing Suzette's words, Gao Luofei's worried expression slowly faded. Yes, with Suzette here, nothing too serious should happen. Thinking of this, Gao Luofei's face filled with confidence. Damn it, we've been tricked. Hearing Charlotte's curses, Jennifer, while firing her gun to block the advance of the security personnel, shouted to Charlotte, "Charlotte, those two must be nearby. Find them quickly, hurry, I can't hold them off for long, we must finish this quickly." Although she didn't understand the extent of Xiulin's technology, she felt that the people couldn't have gone far. And they should be nearby. Hearing what Jennifer said, Charlotte knew that time was of the essence. Therefore, Charlotte picked up her gun and began searching for nearby targets. However, just as Charlotte was searching, the security personnel also learned of the situation. That Maserati Quattroporte is in effect created by Advisor Su Xiulin. Advisor Su and his wife are safe and sound. Break through the encirclement as soon as possible. Guon, who was closely monitoring the live broadcast, immediately ordered the security personnel who were on the scene. Since Suzette and Gao Luofei were safe and sound and had not been discovered by the American spies, Guon had fewer concerns and could act boldly. Having received Guon's orders, and knowing that only Jennifer was firing, the members of the security department, without any reservations, began rushing towards Charlotte and Jennifer's location. In just 5 seconds, they advanced 20 meters. Just as they were quickly surrounding the security personnel, a whooshing sound suddenly reached their ears in the distance. Looking up, they saw an armed helicopter approaching. Yes, this was the Special Operations Team dispatched by Gao Yuanshan. Once the Special Operations Team arrived and joined the security personnel, Charlotte and Jennifer would be trapped like turtles in a barrel. Black Hand also noticed the situation and immediately picked up his walkie-talkie, telling Charlotte and Jennifer, retreat immediately. Although the mission had failed, Black Hand, standing not far away, wore a strange smile. Yes, if the mission were completed so easily, it would be too boring. Only a mission like this deserves Black Hand's involvement. Jennifer and Charlotte, though unwilling, obeyed Black Hand's orders. Charlotte fired to cover Jennifer's retreat as the two ran towards the car that had just arrived. However, just as they were about to reach the car, the two felt as if they had been struck hard in the face. Chapter 100, The practical effects of the Candle Dragon are simply invincible. Charlotte and Jennifer both have high-bridge noses, and at this moment, they felt as if their noses were about to break. The pain in their noses was excruciating, and their faces immediately turned red. It was only because they were wearing black hoods that the changes in their faces were immediately noticeable. Besides their faces, their bodies also felt as if they had bumped into something hard, causing them excruciating pain all over. If they hadn't undergone rigorous special agent training, this pain would have been unbearable for them, and they would probably be howling in agony by now. Even so, their staggering movements astonished those who witnessed the scene. Have these two spies gone mad? What's going on with these two spies? What are they doing for no reason? They bump into something. There's nothing there. What are they doing? Who are they putting on an act for? As for the group from the security department, although they didn't understand why Charlotte and Jennifer were acting this way, but this opportunity was perfect for the group. Taking advantage of the moment, the security personnel had already reached the back of the car Bing Bing and her group were in. They were only inches away from Jennifer and Charlotte. Damn it, this is a car, touching the air in front of them. Judging from the cold metallic feel, Jennifer and Charlotte knew that this so-called air was an illusion. In reality, this was a bus. Charlotte, give me your gun. You find an exit quickly, I'll cover you." Seeing the security personnel so close, Jennifer knew that one of them had to cover for her, so she ordered Charlotte. Hearing Jennifer's words, Charlotte handed her the ASP pistol and then began looking for a way out. As for Jennifer, with 2 pistols in hand, her firepower was much greater. Bang bang bang, bullets clattered against the car Bing Bing and her group were in. Fortunately, the car body was thick, otherwise, Bing Bing and her group would have been in real danger. Compared to Jennifer's tense situation, Charlotte's situation wasn't much better. Although Charlotte knew they were all within SYNOPSIS virtual reality, the blurring of reality and illusion, after several car crashes, meant he could only slowly feel his way out. As for the car they had gotten out of earlier, Charlotte couldn't find it. Actually, it wasn't that Charlotte couldn't find it, but because their actions had created chaos, the car they had gotten out of had been knocked aside by other out-of-control vehicles. Forget finding the car, Charlotte didn't even know how to escape. What you see isn't always what you get. He clearly saw a path, but when he reached closer and touched it, it was still the car itself. "Can you hurry up?" Jennifer said to Charlotte. Hearing Jennifer's anxious shout, Charlotte replied impatiently, "I want to hurry too, but I can't find it." Charlotte was also extremely anxious. After all, he had just seen the armed helicopter approaching, and with more people, their escape would be even more difficult. Most importantly, Charlotte discovered that his surroundings weren't static, but constantly changing. Having gradually moved to a new location through trial and error, Charlotte found that Jennifer, who had been using a car as cover to fight the intelligence agents, had vanished without a trace. After disappearing, Charlotte turned around to find Jennifer crawling slowly towards him, covered in blood, pleading, "Charlotte, save me." Although Charlotte felt Jennifer was a virtual being, the faint smell of blood made the scene undeniably real. Furthermore, Charlotte saw heavily armed intelligence agents rushing towards him from behind, while an armed helicopter landed nearby. Ropes were lowered from the helicopters, and fully armed personnel slid down, landing and rushing towards him. After one helicopter departed, Charlotte saw 3 more appear. This scene made Charlotte's nerves taut. His face and body, especially his back, broke out in a cold sweat, soaking his clothes. It was all too bizarre, making Charlotte somewhat nervous. Jennifer was equally uneasy. While stopping the Secret Service team from advancing, Jennifer turned to look behind her, wanting to see Charlotte's movements. But when she turned around, she saw Charlotte, who had been searching for an exit route, looking at her with a strange expression. He slowly extended a pistol, a grin spreading across his face, and before she could say anything, he pulled the trigger under her terrified gaze. The bang was very realistic, and Jennifer's body reacted instinctively, dodging. But then Jennifer realized the bullet hadn't hit her, and Charlotte had vanished from the spot. Seeing this, Jennifer immediately understood that the Charlotte from before was an illusion. However, before Jennifer could think any further, she saw the Secret Service team appear in front of her again. Seeing this, Jennifer raised her hand and fired at the security personnel. But unlike before, this time the security personnel didn't even try to dodge when facing her gun. Just when Jennifer thought that these security personnel would be hit by her bullets and fall to their knees, she found that the bullets passed right through these security personnel without leaving a single scratch. Seeing this, Jennifer immediately understood that these security personnel were also a trick of SYNOPSIS' virtual reality device. "Did you think I would fall for it? You just wanted me to waste my ammunition, right? I won't succeed." When Jennifer saw the security personnel appear again, she raised her head and fired a shot to test the waters. Seeing that it was still a fake, Jennifer said mockingly, "End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.